It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that file. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up. We're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I hope everyone is doing good. I need y'all to do me a favor. Click like, share, and subscribe. Click like, share, and subscribe so we can boost this out. So I had technical problems. It was not producer Jay, but we got a lot of content, and literally I had to change everything over because y'all know they gave a celebratory moment that, hey, the water is done. The water is clean. Y'all, that's some BS. That's some BS. So if you are in the chat, let me say good morning, JP6. Good morning, Debbie Clark. Good morning, Angela Nett. Good morning, Big Shady 11. Good morning, all out doing mulching while listening to my sister counselor. Listen, y'all. Good morning. Good morning, Microsoft. Good morning, Diva Cam. Good morning. Y'all know I can't keep up with the chat, but listen, click like. I need y'all to click that like button because I want to get this out. This is some really good information. Good morning, Rhonda Atkins, and I want everyone to be able to have good information because there's a lot going on. Good morning, Tia Austin, R. Murphy, Reverend Frederick Powell, Poe. And if I'm y'all, I done lost control already. I done got that little blue box up. So Jade Williams, Tasha Lynn, Dr. Padroni, what's up? Dr. Padroni, I seen one of your comments. Me and you need to talk. we need to talk, Dr. Padroni. Good morning, RK, Tracy, Glenn, Shayna Shepherd. Good morning, Sheena B. Where's Patrick G? Yeah, Dr. Padroni, that comment, you got to call me later on. Cameron, hey, Jasmine M. Listen, y'all, we haven't did a morning in a minute. Randall McGee, good morning. So listen, I need y'all to do push that out, push this out. So I'm going to, good morning, producer Jay, how are you? I don't even think I'm really talking to you because you told me I was the color of Donald.
Oh yeah, I told you look like that orange man.
Yeah, he told me I was, I'm like, oh, I look pale, y'all. I'm like, he's like, you need some sun. So this was the argument. This is the argument that we were literally. I'm like, God, I look like the color of my tank top almost. So anyway, good morning, Robert Sharon. Charles Lee has a question, and I have a question about what should the and well, I need to be concerned about the water situation similar to Flint is a mess, y'all. I'm just gonna tell y'all. Melissa Zaremski. I'm gonna tell y'all that the Flint thing is just a mess. And shout out to we're not doing no foolishness with these people. If they in this chat talking crazy, good morning, Megan Swanson. They gotta go. I ain't got no time for them. So listen, I'm having my official first cup of, well, I guess it's a cup of coffee. And good morning to y'all. We're gonna do coffee and politics and water quality. How did we get here? Because people say, oh, Flint's water isn't clean. Flint's water is still brown or different colors of rust or brown or tea, whatever it is. So how did we get here? And it has literally been a process. So as I was going back, I had no idea they would be announcing, good morning, Sherhart, that, thank you, RK, that they would announce, it's a celebration. Flint's water is clean. It's all clean. Y'all, listen, I brush my teeth every day with bottled water. And because there's construction not far from my home, the college house, I get sediment. It's not unusual to get that. So things that I don't do, I don't cook with any of the city water, even with the filter. I brush my teeth with bottled water. I don't wash off my fruits and vegetables, my meat. Look, I don't clean my greens in the sink or with the water. I don't do any of that. Good morning, Bishop Devion. I'm still recovering from that draining meeting this past week. Let them know I have spaces for therapy, 2 floors. Look, I need them spaces because listen, I get PTSD after the meetings. I seriously do. So getting here to this, literally when I saw this, and the EPA really tried to play us, it's a celebratory moment. Let's basically send up some rockets and fireworks. Y'all, no, because I can honestly tell you, and I'm going to do a timeline of how did we get here. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. They do not, how do restaurants stay open without cleaning the filter? They have filters. I do not have a whole house filter. Do not have one. So they were required to get them. And at this time they were giving them out to businesses. So the water is safe when you eat here. They have that, I think it's reverse osmosis. So it is safe, but they did not give that to the residents. They did not. Jasmine, see, she says they have a filtration. See, look, the people smart. Listen, in the comments, they are smart. Now, hit that like button because I want to give all this good information out to share. And there's been a lot going on this week. So, Bishop, that meeting, before we get into that meeting was, I don't even know what to say, but I'm going to tell y'all, we got a whole letter that Seamus wrote. And Seamus wrote a letter. I'm going to read the letter later. And then he actually, Seamus showed his anus on us when he wrote that letter, when he comes completely unprepared. And somehow it's our fault. Literally, I said during that meeting, they're going to take this back. They're going to blame it on us. They're going to cause obstructionists. They're going to say that we're insurrectionists. They're going to say they're going to go to the media and make all these false accusations. What they didn't say is week after week after week after week, month after month after month after month, this administration comes unprepared. Can't answer no questions. We don't know. We'll get back with you. Y'all, they ain't got back with nobody. So listen. So we're going to say, let's put that first one up. Producer Jay, are you ready for this? We are not going to be on here all day, okay? Producer Jay?
That's right, because you got a cookout to get started.
Yeah, my kids playing something, y'all, that I'm not cooking. I mean, they in the group chat. I didn't even respond. I'm like, they done planned the whole cookout. Who cooking? It's not going to be me. Literally, it's a whole group chat. And I'm like, I'm not cooking. No. At this point in stage, your girl is all for takeout. So we can get a buffet of takeout. We can get some Chinese, some barbecue. Famous Days is open. We can get some chicken. You can get Popeyes. You can get Kentucky Fried. We can go to the fish fry place. I'm gonna say some Chester chicken. Where I ain't cooking nothing. Ain't nothing. So listen, we're gonna get on to this. And y'all, this is a good day. I want to say that this is a good day. So, Producer Jay.
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
put up the first one. Now, y'all know this writing is really small. And so producer Jay and I were having, hey, Kawana, he gonna tell me, well, can you read it now? Can you read it? And I had to tell him, look, I'm gonna be your mama. That writing is small. So listen, we are going to let me pull this up. So how did we get here? Flint's lead water pipes to be replaced under proposed settlement federal safe drinking water case. So I'm gonna pull that up because y'all know that lettering is just too small for you, girl. Did I read back? Did I resend this to you? So listen, if anybody has
Yes, the one with the red Statue of Liberty.
see, and I sent the whole run of show to you. Thank you. It'd be so much. We had to redo the whole show, literally, because there was so much going on. So the ACO says Flint's lead water pipes to be replaced under proposed settlement in the federal safe drinking water case. So people are saying, what is the case? And it's the concerns pastors for social action. Our clergy is not as present as I wish they were, not with everything that's going on. So it says residents of Flint will finally get their lead pipes replaced as a result of settlement agreement being considered by a federal judge. If approved, the settlement will require the state of Michigan and the city of Flint to replace Flint's lead pipes within 3 years. Y'all, April, we celebrated 11 years. They had 3 years. This has not been done, okay? And I'm going to tell you this. All of the lead pipes have not been changed. I have been asking for 2.5 years for the list of the pipes that they claim, look, I'm using air quote, they claim that they cannot get in contact with these people. They claim that they can't. This is a hogwash BS, and I'm going to tell you why. Give me the list, which I have said, and when I found it with my residents, look, knock, 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 I'll knock on the door. They won't give me the list, y'all. They will not give me the list. I even asked again as early as this week. They will not give me the list. We're going to do some Scripps News to show you some of the people, two in my ward, who they wouldn't. Literally going back and forth, y'all. We're going to move on. Let me finish reading this because I don't want to get distracted because I'm pissed. I'm pissed. This thing said every lead line. They didn't do everything they could to contact these people when they were putting them hang tags on. They wasn't putting them on. They were throwing them on the porch, or if it's a windy day, they blow off. They were not contacting these people. That's just not true. I got people in my ward on Scripps won an Emmy award, an Emmy for coverage. Because they were saying, oh, we can't do this. Well, according to the people across the street and next door to you, you don't have lead pipes. That's not how we do that. That's not. So, says, Flint's lead pipes will be out within 3 years and will be enforceable by court. The lawsuit was filed in response to the Flint water crisis. The water crisis, according to EPA, is done, y'all, now. It's over as of this week. The result of failed government decisions, lifting the water crisis is a failed government decision that caused lead to leach out from aging pipes into thousands of homes, and they don't have in this article businesses. It went into everything. The water wasn't segregated. It went to if you was Black, white, Hispanic, Republican, Democrat, if you was an atheist, whatever. It went to everything that was in the city of Flint. If you came to work and you drank that water from to make coffee from the faucet, guess what? And you lived in Fenton, you were drinking Flint water with not only was there lead, there was PFAS, TTHM, cyanide. There was everything in that water, and people died. So when they say that they are through, let's go on to the next one. We have been slapped, gut punched, you name it, but this is some hogwash. So fighting for safe water in Flint. So there has been, and and there's so many articles, but I want, because people often ask, most people be like, oh, well, Flint's water, how's your water? Don't drink it from the tap. Someone sent me yesterday, and I'm going to send you what Producer Jay, before I forget, because I'm going to do this. This was literally yesterday that I was sent this photo. And I'm going to send this to you. I'm going to read this article, though, as soon as I'm done. I'm sorry. We might be on here a minute today, y'all. But we're not doing that meeting that requires therapy. So listen, there's free therapy sessions only for certain wards that's being offered on here. You can get free therapy because we got a lot to get into. Can you blow that up?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Oh, no, I got it. I got it on my phone. So the NRDC is the attorneys. They were fighting for the safe water. So overview, this article was April 13, 2022. So over the 11 years, there have been numerous articles, videos. You can put it on YouTube. You can Google it. And so this one states, on April 25th, 2014, officials looking to save money, switched Flint, Michigan's drinking water supply from the Detroit city system to the Flint River. The new water was highly corrosive because city and state officials broke federal law by failing to treat the water properly. Lead leached out of the aging pipes into every home, every home. Soon after the switch, Flint residents complained about dark-colored, foul-tasting, smelly water, as well as skin rashes and hair loss. Independent tests found that a significant proportion of samples had lead levels well above the action level for lead set by the EPA. The ones who just said this is a celebratory moment, they're on some bullshit. In fact, samples show levels more than 100 times the action level. 9,000 children who were particularly sensitive to lead and its effects were exposed to contaminated water because they broke the law. So can you put the picture that was just sitting to me yesterday? And if I didn't say y'all name, good morning, Reed Johnson, Maurice Spell. I have to, can you put that one up the photo? Good morning, Meat Streets Barbecue. Y'all, this was yesterday. This was yesterday. He has 2 children, him and his wife. This is in my ward. This was sent to me. Let's put it up big. Put it up big so everybody can see it. This was yesterday. This was sent to me, asking me, what is this? So in my area, some of the homes are very old, over 100 years. I have another home, which literally last year, they just changed the pipes. And this home, but what year let me give the year that he stated, because my ward is really and what I'm seeing, like with the trends, I asked him, I said, well, what year is your home built in? And I think he was kind of like wondering like why, his home was built in 1929. And so back then lead was pretty much in everything. And so with the home being in 1929, he has 2 children. So of course I gave him the resources that he needs to follow through. You can still get your water tested. You can. Up to a year after they lift this, they are required to still get filters for your homes. So I want people to know that up to a year. Now, with a mayor out here talking about storms from 8 days ago, or 9 days ago, pretend like he's picking up limbs. This is what he should have been talking about. These are the things that matter. These are the things that matter. So his home was built in 1929. And so people don't understand. So when he's asking me, what is this? I said, you need to get your water tested. And he's got young kids. We know that lead affects, and that looked like mold or something, whatever it is in the water. I don't know. I don't know, but him and his wife are going to get the water tested. But this is yesterday. This isn't 11 years ago. This is yesterday. Debbie Clark says, I get black rings around my toilet from the Yep, Debbie, you probably get them no matter how many times you clean your toilet. If you clean your toilet every day, it's still going to happen. It still happens. And you probably got like a strong smell, not like it's I can't describe the smell. So when we talk about this EPA thing, them lifting it and the celebratory, I have been asking, they will not give me the list. Will not give me the list because I'll roll up on you, knock on the door because I want people to, and I have. So when we look at this, Flint is not fixed. So one of my questions, which I talked to Mr. Oswald, and asking, what about the administrative consent order? So this is one of the reasons why they passed the water. Why? Because they stated that this is about our infrastructure. They passed this, 5 people passed this September the 23rd. It had failed in city council. They brought it back and did a reconsideration on September the 23rd. There was zero discussion about it. Zero. And when the EPA thinks this is okay, why? 5 council people voted that the administrative consent order, like everything was okay. It's not. So September 23rd, Quincy was very sick. Councilman Quincy Murphy. He came in to be their 5th vote. There was no discussion. They had 5 rubber stamping votes. Judy did a call for the question, and they voted that this was okay. Administrative consent order, which is about 177 pages. And y'all know I didn't read mine throughout. So what the administrative consent order does, it goes over things that are wrong with our water and issues that need to be fixed. So September 23rd, Quincy came in. He was so sick. And they voted to pass this. This is part of why the EPA thinks our water is okay. September 29th, Councilman Murphy passed away. He literally came in on his deathbed, literally. He was so sick, and voted to pass this. So what does it talk about? The administrative consent order talks about failing. It is agreed upon. The cross connection. It talks about our infrastructure, because when you talk about what was going on, the lead, it destroyed the infrastructure. Flint is established in 1855. But it was operating before then. It was a lumber town and went through different phases before it was an automotive town. It was a like a fur, for the trap or whatever, like a fur. So they did different things. So these are the things that were supposed to be done. We have failed many things, but I'm gonna let Scripps tell you how bad it was. I was working with Scripps. I had Hadia in my ward and Jeff Rope, who were not getting their lead lines looked at. Hadia's did, and hers was actually lead. And going back and forth, it's literally been a fight. And I want people to know, don't stop talking or being consistent when they want you to shut up and they want to shut you down. Don't stop. Keep pushing. Don't stop. If you got to do it every single day, find somebody. Keep pushing. 11 years and they have stopped this. Our deep and as part of this order, y'all, we supposed to have a DPW director. He just quit. Another one bit the dust. He quit. I like Mr. Kenneth Miller. He quit. So me and him had some conversations, and the conversation was, how do we pay for all these items pertaining to the water system? He said, I don't know how we're gonna pay for them. I have no idea how we're going to pay for them at all. And he's gone. So we do not have we do not have a DPW, which is required. So this is another thing. So I don't know why, people were celebrating. Not your girl. So in this one, the last conversation me and him had, it was a total of 22 projects. 17 of them were 0% completed. 5 projects were 20 to 90% completed. But we're gonna get into it. Y'all, they won't give me the list. They won't give me the list. People are still out here who do not have their water or service lines even checked, excavated. They do not. Producer Jay, you want it. Y'all listen. Tip the producer because he got my content up. He on his P's and Q's today. Thank you. So I want people to actually see, because you can, this is the actual order. This is the one thing, y'all, about nails. You can't use your phone like you want to. So this is the actual consent order. You got to have one of these little thingies to do it. So the actual consent order, I'm going to read the first page of it. I got to get it up. I have to pull it up. I'm sorry, Producer Jay. Okay. So why is y'all know my internet over here is shady. It is not letting me pull it up. Can you make it big? I told you I can't. So this is the settlement agreement. I don't know why this is not letting me pull this up. That is weird. That it is not allowing me to pull it up. So this is the settlement agreement, which describes what Flint is required to do after they have broken the law, after they have poisoned an entire city. And as of this week, the EPA has said, we're walking away. And they did. So in the settlement agreement, it is a total of 92 pages. 92 pages. And I'm going to read just the first page. Listen, they don't want me to read this. So the first page, it says the settlement agreement is entered into the plan. I need this to go sideways. Now, come on. Hey, look, it's not going to cooperate with me. It is entered into with the Concerned Pastors for Social Action, Melissa Mays, Natural Resource Defense, the NRDC, recitals. It says, whereas on January 27, 2016, plaintiffs filed in the U.S. District Court the case. So it says, whereas the plaintiffs allege that the complaint that the Flint water system is in violation of the lead and copper rules, requirement for corrosion treatment, tap water monitoring, notification, and requiring compliance. So Flint failed all that. Literally, they broke the law. No one's went to jail. They've been went to court. No one's went to jail. No one's nothing has happened to nobody. Nobody. When they did it to save money. So you can Google the if you want to read the entire document. Thank you, Granny G, and I don't know who else who donated. Thank you for donating, because I'm trying to read these microscopic little small things, because your girl will print everything up, but I couldn't print all this up. So I want to say thank you if you are donating to the show, as I appreciate it, because I could not do this show without each of you. Thank you, Debbie Clark. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, and if you wanted to give and couldn't give, thank you. And by the way, look, I get zero money from this. Zero. I do this to keep people informed, where you can get good information, because the press doesn't talk about any of this. The press doesn't tell us about what's going on. So the lawsuit was passed. The city has failed and violated this numerous times. So their record keeping, they have failed. The Tory Road Booster Station, this is all in our, the system valves. This is an administrative consent order, the things that they have failed. We're supposed to have $6 million every year water main replacements. Y'all, we don't have that. It's so much. I should have bullet pointed all of this, because if y'all looking at my notes are a lot. I know. And so to have them literally vote and not even know what the administrative consent order was a problem. They gave 5 votes. 5 votes that all of these things to ensure our water and infrastructure was being repaired. And this includes our service lines. They voted yes on this. So they're like, well, hey, if council voted on it, it must be good. It must be good. It's not good. It's not good. They gave 5 votes to because they don't even, I guarantee they ain't even read it. Guarantee you that they did not even read it. Where's the part where the violations are at? And I've talked about this before. So listen, so here's something. Here we go. So the penalties. The city was never charged, and they missed the deadline. We're supposed to have this done in 3 weeks. Thank you. So the penalty should have been for each failure with provision. The city shall pay stipulated $5,000 if after 30 days from its original deadline, the city has not fully corrected the violation. The city shall pay stipulated penalties of $200 per violation for each day. Yeah, we've been in penalties. Mayor Neely was clearly brought here to silence the water crisis. He doesn't talk about the water crisis. Neither does his wife, State Rep Cynthia Neely. Neither one of them talk about the water crisis. He has not talked about it this week. He out picking up branches, talking about he cleaning up trees and putting them through the chipper and all this other stuff. Not true. He showed up and took a photo op. He's doing press photo ops. The 72 roofs, he had them in city council chambers. He did, I think, 2 pressers that day. 2 press conferences, talked about roofs. What he did not talk about, the celebratory moment. Where he wasn't at was where the NRDC was at to celebrate. This is all his doing. His Fantastic Five literally passed this garbage. Literally. And so they are in violation. Look, we're going to go into Scripps News. And I want to say thank you to Scripps News for covering this. So let's play this first video. And hey, DeAndre. Good morning, everybody. Ramon Stripling. He put that vest on right before that part in the video showed it.
10 years after the start of the deadly water crisis here in Flint, Michigan, Scripps News has learned that hundreds of dangerous lead pipes are still being used to carry water into residents' homes. But as we drove across this city and knocked on doors, we discovered people living in some of those houses had no idea that was the case.
I'm Katie Beck. I'm a journalist, and I'm doing a story about lead pipes.
This man, Wyatt Drake Peel, told us he's been renting this home in Flint since December. We were the first to tell him it's still being serviced by lead pipes.
We use the filter, although, with how long this is stretched out, who knows if that's enough at this point. I'm sure it's not. I think a lot of people assume that it's done.
How much trust do you have in the city government?
Out here, little to none.
A decade into this crisis, records obtained by Scripps News reveal that more than 200 homes like Wyatt's have known lead service lines that have not yet been replaced. And our own Scripps News analysis of city and state records show more than 1,000 addresses in Flint have not been inspected for dangerous pipes at all.
You can see they marked the flag for where water lines are.
That includes Jeff Ropp's home. He showed us the flags on his front lawn that he says have been sitting here for months, the last time workers came to his home.
In order for them to come out and do the work, you have to fill out a waiver, which I'd submitted this document at least 3 or 4 times. I left the messages like I was supposed to on the line at City Hall.
The city advertises that phone line as the place for residents to call for all requests related to the pipe replacement projects.
How many times do you call that number?
Oh, I don't know, probably a dozen or more. They've never called me back.
That's the same thing that happened to members of Flint's own city council.
I made that same phone call 5 times, and I still, I did that 2 years ago, and I still never got a phone call back.
I too have called that number, no return call. So I can imagine the residents are pretty fed up.
Melissa Mays is more than fed up.
What kind of trust do people have in this city's government?
None. We don't trust the water because we know it's coming through bad pipes, and we don't trust the people because of their actions, but most importantly, their inactions.
Mays and her family were among the tens of thousands who drank the water here for 18 months before city and state officials admitted it was poisoning children.
I handed my kids tap water instead of pop, instead of sugary juices, because I thought I was doing right. I cooked at home. I had no idea that every time I was handing them their favorite spaghetti, I boiled it down and it was heavy metal spaghetti. You can hurt me, whatever, but you've messed up my kids. That's where I draw the line.
Today is day 3,287 since Flint has had clean and safe water.
May's family's experience motivated her to stand up and fight. And in 2017, Flint residents led by Mays won a historic settlement when a federal judge required the city and state to replace Flint's corroded service lines by 2020. But last spring, our investigation showed the work wasn't finished. And that after Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely took office in 2019, work on the pipes slowed to a crawl. The city missed multiple court-ordered deadlines in the process. We sat down with the mayor back then, and he vowed that the work was nearly done.
We're rounding out this project that we're scheduled to be able to complete this very, very soon.
He told us completing it was a priority, but he couldn't tell us how many homes were left to inspect.
Those numbers are, elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
Last month, a federal judge cited our Scripps News report in his order, holding the city in contempt for failing to finish the project. He declined to hold Mayor Neely himself in contempt. When we reached out to the mayor's office for comment, a spokesperson sent us this statement. The city of Flint's water quality is in compliance with all state and federal regulations. And they added, under the settlement agreement, there are approximately 30 addresses requiring lead service line excavation remaining. That number was much different from the hundreds of homes we found with known lead pipes and the more than 1,000 addresses we discovered that hadn't yet been inspected. At the same city council meeting in early April, where members talked about that phone line, they also said they were in the dark about how much work was still left on the project.
When are we going to get the right, I don't want to say the truthful answer on where we are with pipe replacement?
We had hoped to speak directly to the mayor to try and get to the bottom of questions like these. His office declined our interview request in days leading up to our trip, so we decided to see if we could catch him at City Hall.
Hi, how are you? Good. I'm Katie with Scripps News, Katie Beck, and we had requested an interview with the mayor. We're doing an update on the water crisis and the status of finishing that. So we were hoping he'd speak with us, answer a couple questions.
I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do that today. We're just not. We're not. I can provide a statement. Be happy to.
We'd like to be able to have him respond to the many questions people have in this community about when this is going to be finished.
Okay, I understand your concerns. We have a press conference starting in the Dome in 20 minutes. If you'd like to come down and join us.
But while we waited to be taken to the press conference room, we discovered the mayor's office had suddenly moved it to another location, and the spokesperson confirmed it was to avoid our questions.
You're having a press conference and you're excluding us from it.
Yes.
Because of what?
Because we're going to stay on topic in this press conference.
Following our visit, a city spokesperson explained in an email that the mayor has much less flexibility right now. But we still wanted to know why they told us only 30 addresses remained to be serviced when our investigation had dug up more than 1,000. The city told us our number was accurate, but that it included residents who never consented or were not responsive to the city's attempts to do the work. We found the city had included Jeff Ropp on a list of non-responsive homeowners in 2022, despite his claim of signing consent forms at least 3 times and calling the city repeatedly, but getting no response.
There's a judge that found the city in contempt here in the last couple of weeks. So if they can ignore a judge in a court, ducking my phone calls and ignoring me, I guess, isn't too difficult.
The city now tells Scripps News it's committed to finishing the project and even started work late last year at the properties it says never consented.
I didn't get any kind of communication at all.
But Jeff Ropp is still waiting and says after all his years struggling to get the city to do its job, he's now ready to leave Flint.
It's a shame. I've been a salesman for the city in the past and tried to tell other people how great it is. Get to a point where you're just exhausted by it and the anxiety of it, and you're just enough's enough.
The city of Flint tells us that the water lines at Jeff Ropp's house do not need to be inspected because of some records that indicate they are safe. Where those records are coming from exactly, the city has not told us, but a water expert says that the city does have some historical old records that are only sometimes accurate. And that is why a federal judge has required them to dig up every single water line to ensure that the dangerous pipes are removed.
Okay, so literally the line has been, and I was going to show you guys because Jeff Ropp is in my ward, and his was not changed. They're talking about the historical records. Flint's records were not accurate. They are not accurate. He is in the 6th ward, actually in the Mott Park area. Then I had to call, it was Oswald and the other guy, the state, because the city is not cooperative underneath Mayor Neely. Good morning, Senior Councilwoman Jerry Wimber Carter. Good morning. And so because they're not cooperative, it's like I have to go to different lengths to find out. So what I had to do was on the line with the state of Michigan, Flint state, whoever was replacing the lines, the state, said that his lines were likely to not be lead. his were not tested. So they literally checked the neighbors next door, across the street, and literally I went through every single house on his street with the state of Michigan. So they're saying because there was no lead found in the other homes on his street, that his would be likely to not have lead and it would be copper. He sent me literally, he every time he called, he wrote it down. He had the time, date, if the line hung up, he kept the actual record. Jeff was in my ward. Squeaky wheel usually gets the oil. They don't want to talk about. So tell me, why are they celebrating? Tell me, why are they celebrating? They were telling us only 30 more to do. We've been at 90% since 2019, since Mayor Karen Weaver was here. 90% is where they're at. 90% is where we're at now. Celebratory to me is when you're 100%. When you actually reach what the settlement said, every single line has been changed. Every single line. It didn't say almost every single line has been changed. I know the city's efforts have been piss poor. I know because I deal with my residents. I deal with them. I contact them. I talk with them. So I know. I know that I have one that was continuously testing at over 22 parts per billion on Chevrolet Street. And they had a grandchild they were raising that had a compromised immune system. They ended up purchasing their own full water home filtration system. They couldn't get their water. They were testing it because I went over there, and actually Arthur Woodson went over there with me one of the times. And they were continuously testing high. They didn't get theirs changed until last year. According to the lawsuit with the Concerned Pastors for Social Action, this is supposed to be done in 3 years. It's still not done. I can't get the list of the ones that aren't done. So why are we celebrating? I'm not, but why the hell are they? Jeff Rope is in Mott Park area. In the state, you can get your lines excavated. Literally, I didn't trust them when they were doing mine. V.O. Luster, Gina Luster's father, and he came, I had, this was even before I was elected. And so I wanted to be home to see, because I wanted to look in the hole, see what's going on. And they really go all the way down. And so I had questions, and V.O. Luster came and he said, look, whatever you need or you want, because he was heading some of the projects, I'll leave that up. He said, I will, do what you need. He said, but Tonya, you don't need to, we're talking about the lead. You also got to worry about the water from the shower, the molecules. You can't do anything about that really, because when they come out, they go everywhere. He said, water is liquid gold. It's liquid gold. Just like there's money in poverty, there's money in water being poisoned. So 5 people voted for that. Our administrative consent order, because they don't think we have a water crisis. Why? They figure the majority of the council did it. Quincy came in on his deathbed, and literally, he was in so much pain that they rushed the council. Call for the question, call for the question, call for the question. And I'm going to try to look for that in our next, while we looking to our next one. So let's go on, Producer Jay, to our next Scripps news. Now, hold on, but our local news didn't cover this. Where is our local news? Where's the local news? Harmony, I don't know one resident drinking this water. Everyone buys bottled water. Nobody working at City Hall or these newsrooms drinks the tap water. I had one person literally tell me that is, I got it. She done hung up. Who was in my ward saying, you know what? I drink the water. Literally, he told me, I ain't done nothing since I've been elected. I'm like, okay. That didn't go very well. I do these podcasts so people will have a good source of information, not just my opinion, but you can have a source. And that's why I tell you where I get it from, what page. I put it up there because I want people to have works cited. credible and good information. So Jeff Rope was in my ward. We know that it went on that clip from 30 homes to over 1,000. They really don't know how many. Restorations have not been done. So it was not just changing the lead lines, it was also restoration. It was not done. Here's another one. She's in my ward. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. Let's play this one.
You're just vigilant every day. You shouldn't have to be vigilant for years and years and years and years and years and years.
Adia McCullough and her 7-year-old son, Robbie, are still dealing with the aftermath of a crisis in Flint that exposed its 100,000 residents to toxic levels of lead in the drinking water.
I think people just automatically assume that it should be okay now.
I did. I thought it was fixed.
Most people do.
All these years later, Adia still uses bottled water to wash her food and feed her cats. Robbie has brushed his teeth with bottled water his entire life. They're doing that because the city has still not fulfilled its promise to inspect the water pipes coming into their home for lead.
They came and spray painted the pipeline and they put little flags and then they left and they never did the work.
A Scripps News investigation discovered nearly a decade after the Flint water crisis, efforts to remove dangerous pipes have slowed to a crawl, and thousands of residents may still need their water pipes inspected, like Adia.
How does that feel? It feels like you have no power, no support. It feels like you don't matter. It feels like the world just keeps going on and you keep going on. But like you don't matter. Like everyone here is not important enough. And it feels awful.
The problem started 9 years ago in 2014 when officials switched the source of the city's water in a cost-cutting move to the highly polluted Flint River. Its corrosive water caused underground pipes to begin leaching toxic amounts of lead into Flint's drinking water. As part of a settlement with Flint residents, the city was required to find and replace every lead water line. The court-ordered deadline for the entire project was January of 2020, more than 3 years ago. Just this past February, a federal judge determined the city has violated and is violating the settlement agreement and concluded it has not done what it has promised to do. And all along, the city could have tapped further into $100 million in state and federal funds set aside in that settlement for Flint to get the lead out. But our Scripps News investigation found that the pace of inspections has dropped more than 95% from a peak in 2018.
What is taking so long?
We will not rush through this process just to say that we got it done.
Under Mayor Sheldon Neely's watch, the city of Flint has missed 3 court deadlines to finish the job. He blamed the first 2 on delays caused by the previous mayor and the pandemic, which initially did slow down work for much of the nation. We pressed him on the most recent miss.
And then there was another deadline after the pandemic started, and that was in September of 2022.
You got the data in front of you. Deadlines were set and deadlines were missed. I admit to that, right? Some could be contributed to me and some could be contributed to other pieces, right?
Early in his term, Mayor Neely's own administration cited the historic lack of proper record keeping for the city's failure to get the job done. But 3 years later, we discovered the city still does not know where its own contractors have carried out much of the work.
Does the city know where work has been done?
In many cases, we're evaluating that today.
So what's the number overall that needs to still be completed?
Well, those numbers are, elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
How do you go down the punch list of homes that you have to complete or homes that you have to visit if right here, as you and I are talking, you don't seem to know how many more there are to go?
You want me to give you a number?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
I give you percentages. More than 90% of this process has been completed.
That's a number he repeated over and over again, no matter how hard we tried to pin him down.
We're going to stick with the number of more than 90%.
But Scripps News discovered more than 90% complete is also exactly where the city said it stood in this press release from August of 2020, nearly 3 years ago.
Flint is being left behind again, and that cannot happen.
Addie Rolnick is an attorney for the Natural Resources Defense Council, an environmental advocacy group that helped win the legal settlement on behalf of Flint's residents.
It's still not fixed.
The city has mismanaged this program for years.
And we found health risks are once again growing. Lead in Flint's drinking water dropped to its lowest level in 2021. But the most recent tests showed levels triple that amount. Still just below the threshold for action by the EPA, but trending in the wrong direction.
9 parts per billion, which is high. Our goal is to get the lead pipes out.
But when we visited Flint, we found crews on the street 9 years into this crisis, searching only now for dangerous water pipes at people's homes and finding them.
A project that was very easy to begin is more challenging to complete because we're still searching out a lot of those lines and trying to find and locate all of them.
The reason why really I'm pressing a little bit here today is that there are real people who are waiting for help and have been calling the city saying, please come to my house, please check my pipe.
Yeah, but that's not a statement of fact, Mark. One can't accept that as a statement of fact.
We shared 7 different stories of Flint residents with the mayor, including Adia McCullough, who all told us that they tried to get city contractors out to their homes, but are still waiting 9 years later. The mayor had trouble believing that.
If they're calling here, we have health navigators going door to door. The city hall is open every day. Our phone lines are active and operational.
But the day we sat down with the mayor, here's what happened when we called the city's Get the Let Out number for residents.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Can you put your head up just a little bit, buddy? There we go. Thank you.
Days later, the city told us it put a work order in for Adia's home. But life on the front lines of this crisis has broken Adia's trust in the city of Flint.
Something that shouldn't have happened should have been fixed immediately. And we shouldn't still be here years later trying to prove that it's not fixed.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer.
You muted, Burns.
So that is Adia. She is in my ward. Also, her lines were finally changed. And that was her son, Robbie. You call the line and the line didn't work. It didn't work. And people really don't know what to do. And as people move in, and if you move into a house that it was never changed, people really don't know. People think that it's fixed. We're not at 100. Why are they celebrating? Why are they celebrating? Literally, I was ready to go when the blue flyer came up. I'm like, look, your girl was ready. I was like, I'm headed, I'm going there. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna speak because I got questions. Then I saw the blue flyer. I was like, whoa, they celebrating? I'm like, they having it at a church? Now, I respect the church, but I might have had some cuss words. Therefore, I thought it was a town hall. I did the town hall with Miss Claire McClinton. Literally, and me and Councilman Murphy Carter did. Literally, like 5. We didn't know it was a town hall. This is for the commemoration of the water crisis. And Miss Claire McClinton, if you're watching, you got us. Because when we got there, she's like, no, y'all come up to the front. And I'm like, I thought I could slip in, slip back out, because I had to go to the hospital. Because I had an uncle in the hospital with congestive heart failure. And so that when people were angry, they were like, where's my money? We haven't been paid. My water still has problems with it. And we're hearing all of these things here. Literally, we took an ear beating by at least 5 people. And then I'm like, Jerry, I need to talk to these people. And I got up and talked to them and told them, look, we don't have the money. City council does not have the money. When we get 5 people, I hope y'all get your money before then. One of the things I will do is to have a resolution. Or a special order to have the attorneys and to explain to the public, we don't have y'all money. You got the other rubber stamp 5. Do not want y'all to have any information. Do not want you to have, don't want you to know nothing. I believe in giving you information so that you can go through it yourself. Bring your bad word to council on May 28th. Is what Diane thought. You can leave that up there. And so when we talk about information, people don't know. City council has had anything to do with you not getting your water settlement. The city was sued. We don't have the money. We're asking questions. Tonya's asking questions and ain't getting no answers. None. So I do want to say that. And so the question is, where are our elected officials? Where are they talking? Why is our mayor sitting up telling, he's being elusive. The program is mismanaged. You're not going to pin me down to a number. You've been at 90% since technically 2019, which was Mayor Weaver. She was actually ahead of the program with getting the lead lines taken out. She was ahead. So let's go on to the next one.
You're moving too fast for me. Hold on 1 second. I forgot.
Oh, yeah, he knows I'm moving too fast.
Hold on. I'm getting it now.
Look, and he had just so this, and I'm serious, y'all. If you need to have your lead lines checked and they have not, then what you need to do, you can still get your water tested. We are still under with EGLE, the administrative consent order. So, and that's the thing. The mayor should have been given a press conference to tell the people. The EPA has dropped it, the BS celebratory moment, but you're still under it with EGLE. So these are things they're still under, and people need to know that. So you're not on your own. I'm waiting to get some information back from Oswald with EGLE that he is giving me, and I'm waiting to get the list. They don't look, y'all. They don't want me to have that list. Because I maybe they didn't see script. Those two, Hadia and Jeff, my ward, my residents call. I make sure I do what I need to do. Those were my residents. Squeaky wheel gets on. And Jeff Rowe has got literally, every time he called, he has the time. If the line didn't work, if it worked, he's able to leave a message. He kept records, so he did. And so when we talk about what's going on, and this is technically not council's job to track this down. There's a company that's supposed to be doing this. That's being paid millions of dollars to do this. They are being paid millions of dollars to do this, and it's not being done. It's not being done. And we still have people who lead lines have not been checked. I showed y'all the picture. A home, another one in my ward yesterday. Yes.
Check out that comment on the screen. Yeah, I'm ready to.
Okay. 100% of the comments under ABC 12 celebration story were mocking 12 and telling them the water is nasty, brown, stinks, and tastes awful. But people got to start getting involved too. Y'all bring your water. I mean, we look at Clara. She passed away. We have got, oh my God, Tony. He passed away. You've got some of the original water warriors. Quincy was out there advocating for the water. He went to Lansing and had the casket there about the water. He had a casket, y'all, and he was there. And so, even Wantoise Davis, Arthur Whitson, you had a lot of people. If your water is still dirty or it hasn't been checked, you need to contact the navigators or send an email to your council person so they can get it directly, but create a paper trail. Because my residents have contacted me and were able to keep a paper trail, they were able to get their water lines tested and changed. Some were lead. And those homes that were 100 years old, they were changed. But you got to email your council person. People have to take some of the responsibility now. No, we didn't poison ourselves, but to get it fixed, we have to get involved. They're not coming to your door all the time. I'm telling you. And I got a call her too. We have 2 seniors on Pulaski Street. Theirs hadn't been done. Had not. And so when we talk about this, we have to not let them get away with this. It's not okay. They want this to go away. Governor Whitmer will be out of office. She can't run again. She can't. Underneath this mayor, he should have had so much to get with his wife being the state rep that everybody should be walking around here with cupcakes and frosting, because he should have forced him to take care of the residents. He should have did it. His wife, the state rep. How you live in the same house and your city is still suffering? We don't have a voice in Lansing. We do not have a voice. They have shut it down. And it's very real. Let's go on to this next video. Thank you, Scripps News and Carrie Cochran.
The ACLU and the Natural Resources Defense Council are now citing our Scripps News investigation from this May as evidence as they ask a federal judge to install sanctions against the city of Flint and its mayor after they've missed deadline after deadline after court deadline.
Deadlines were set and deadlines were missed. I admit to that, right? Some could be contributed to me and some could be contributed to other pieces, right?
Those words by Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely were aired in a Scripps News investigation in May, and some of them are now being cited in court documents asking a federal judge to find the city and its mayor in contempt of court after they say the city missed yet another deadline. The court motion also asks the judge to issue a daily fine of $500 paid jointly by the city and its mayor in his official capacity until Flint complies with its court-ordered deadlines to identify the full scope of its remaining work to replace lead drinking water pipes across the city. Scripps News reported this past May how nearly a decade after the Flint water crisis began, thousands of residents may still need their drinking water pipes inspected for toxic lead and other health hazards.
So what's the number overall that needs to still be completed?
Well, those numbers are elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
In an April interview with Scripps News, Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely, who took over the city 3.5 years ago, repeatedly declined to share how many homes still need to be inspected for potentially toxic water pipes.
You want me to give you a number?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
I give you percentages. More than 90% of this process has been completed.
More than 90% complete is also exactly where the city said it stood in this press release that we found from August of 2020, nearly 3 years ago. Our own Scripps News analysis showed the work on Flint's pipes in recent years has slowed to a crawl.
Now that we're getting down to the last few lines, they're very difficult to find those lines because we're so close to the finishing point.
But we told Neely about 7 different Flint residents who we discovered had repeatedly contacted the city, but are still waiting to get contractors out to their homes after all these years, including Adia McCullough. She told us that her 7-year-old son, Robbie, has had to drink bottled water his entire life while they wait for the city to dig underground and inspect their water lines.
They came and spray painted the pipeline and they put little flags. And then they left and they never did the work. It feels like you don't matter. It feels like the world just keeps going on. And you keep going on. But like, everyone here is not important enough.
This woman's name is Adia.
After we told the mayor about Adia and gave the city her address and phone number in late April, he pledged to do something about it.
Now I know her name. Now that you're bringing it to me, I will send a team out.
We asked the mayor how long residents like Adia should have to wait for a team to assess their homes.
Going forward from today, how long should they have to wait before someone from the city either shows up at their house or actually starts excavation.
But once that call comes in and then we catalog that call, I would assume no more than 2 weeks before they can see some level of action. And thank you on behalf of Adina that you brought to our attention. And definitely we will be reaching out to her.
But more than a month later, we went back to Flint and visited Adia on her front porch.
No action still.
Has the city called you to set up an appointment?
No,
You've seen no action.
none.
And as Flint residents like Adia remain in limbo, we found another issue. On our visit this past April, the main phone line the city tells residents to use to call to get the lead out was not working.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time. Thank you. Goodbye.
When we told the city, a spokesperson promised a permanent fix. But a month later, when we sat with Tonya Burns, the Flint City Council member who represents Adia McCullough's neighborhood, we watched what happened when she tried to call.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time.
This is the one line. If no other line works at City Hall, that line should be working. There's no excuse for that. There's none.
Councilmember Burns told us she's become skeptical of the mayor's ability to get the job done and worries his leadership is alienating key members of the Flint city government, including the Department of Public Works, or DPW, which oversees the water system.
There's a lot of water pipes that need to get looked at in this city. Does the city have someone in charge of the Department of Public Works?
We currently do not have a DPW director.
What happened to him?
He quit. He left March 17th.
Mayor Neely has yet to fill that position. The mayor initially offered a follow-up interview with Scripps News, but after we raised what we'd learned since our last visit, a spokesperson emailed a statement instead, writing, "The city is trying to hire a new public works director and is inquiring as to why the phone line is not working consistently." The city also committed to finishing all of its remaining work by the latest court-ordered deadline of August 1st. Meanwhile, residents like Adia McCullough continue to use bottled water each day as her skepticism about more promises coming from the city grows.
Honestly, I don't even have words for it anymore. Someone that's comfortable with letting people live like this, they're not going to hear someone like me anyway. Their lives are okay. They're succeeding. They're safe. What about everybody else?
Now, the city responded in court to that attempt to hold the city and the mayor in contempt of court, saying that this request is wholly without merit, and they said that it never should have singled out the mayor, Sheldon Neely. Also, we went back to Sheldon Neely again to tell him about Adia McCullough's case. And I can tell you that as of right now, in a major twist, Ms. McCullough is telling us that this week she's finally seen a contractor show up on her door ready to inspect her drinking water pipes. Mark Greenblatt, Scripps News in Washington.
So, Adia did get hers. It shouldn't take all of that. It shouldn't take all of that. This administrative consent order should have never been passed. We do not have a DPW. When that one was done, we done lost another DPW since that aired. Another one has resigned. Another one. Literally, I'm gonna have to take a list of everybody, do a list of everybody that has resigned. Building back up Flint's talent, it's bad. I do want to say, so as we're watching this, and hello, Mayor Dr. Karen Weaver, because you're watching, she sent to me, make sure you mention the predictive model did not work. And so people are going to say, what is the predictive model? The predictive model was, it gave you like key factors to look for: the age of the house, likelihood of what products were available, because Flint had a housing boom. And so you can have 3 different types of materials to do your line because they took what was available. And so the predictive model didn't work. She made it a fact when she was mayor to state every line, not using the predictive model, every single line must be checked. Because you know why? The predictive model wasn't correct. where the predictive model said, that's not a lead line. No, that's not. There were times, yes. There was a lead line that was there. They used certain key factors, age of the house, materials, and so on. And the predictive model was not correct. It was not correct. And so she texts me to make sure, mention that. And she is correct. And I remember it was like a vacuum thing. And they used to have committee in that little bitty room. And they were in there saying, I think it was with Goyette. Goyette would go and they would do like this little small incision and they would not dig up the whole line. And she said, I'm not paying them. And she did not pay them with her administration. Did not do it. And that was part of the predictive model. I forget the name of that machine. And so that machine was sucking up. They would look down the hole. And she said, no, I want it all dug up. I want all of it dug up because it did not show the full line. And so she didn't pay him. The state said they didn't have to pay him. As soon as Neely got in, Goyette, he paid him. And so our wind funds were dwindling down because we didn't have a DPW director. We didn't have a project manager, which is what the DPW director is. And so the state has taken over finishing the lead lines. How are we going to finish our administrative consent order and all those projects that are required underneath the water optimization plan? Who knows? We don't have the funds. How are we going to finish the projects underneath the administrative consent order? Who knows? This mayor has just been terrible. He's terrible. You know, and you see how he treated them. As Hadia said, they're living fine. They're living fine. Their lives are good. What about yours? What about yours? Why isn't the mayor and the state rep talking about these things? Mayor should have said, hey, it's not okay. That order says every single line. He should have been on the front line. That order said every single line. And until every single line is done, I'm going to fight you on it. I'm going to take you to court. And my wife is working at the state. She's going to take you to court. And we're going to make sure you fix Flint. Neither one of the Neelys opened their mouth to say they were going to make sure Flint was fixed. Why is she not getting money for this administrative consent order? Why is he not making sure we got the monies for these projects? Why? Just why? And so when we talk about this, people, and it was the Diane and Debbie, I'm sorry that your mother passed away. And anybody else on here who family has died because of the water, or if anyone's family, we have aggressive cancers here. If they died of cancer, we know that the cancer cluster study that Arthur Woodson has been working so hard to bring here because he had an aunt and her daughter who both lived in the same house died. He has a little cousin. This was probably emotional for him. I think he is 8 or 9. Has kidney problems from drinking the water. He was born underneath the water crisis. He was born. So when he talks about it, he's passionate because he saw the death that occurred in his own family for something that was preventable by treating the water. They use Flint and its residents as a science experiment. You do not hear the mayor and the state rep. They are silent on this. They are mute. How dare you be mute and silent on this? When you in that household are representing this entire city and you mute a celebratory moment. So you didn't go because you didn't feel it was a celebratory moment. Then why the hell aren't you talking about that the EPA has lifted it? He knows, she knows, 100% of those lines are not excavated, looked at. And if it's between the street and the sidewalk, they can look at it their damn selves. Because that easement belongs to they do whatever they want between the street and the sidewalk. That little part belongs to them. They're silent. You need to remember this in 2026 when it's election time. The Neelys were silent. 100% of those service lines are not complete. Both Neelys were silent. You got to start calling them as they were. They were silent. Both of them. He out picking up branches from a storm happened almost 2 weeks ago. And the reporter says, yeah, Mayor, but I mean, this storm was like over a week ago, last week. Because he's fooling y'all. He's tricking y'all. Because he think people aren't smart enough. He's tricking you. Okay, that is our water. Listen, bring your water on Tuesday. There's also testing. If you need testing for your water, when you first go into City Hall, right there to the right, the window, check with the navigators. The fact that the mayor is silent on this is just absolutely wrong. And his wife, the state rep and the mayor are wrong. Where are our resources? We should be flooded in resources when the mayor is married to the state rep. And I'm not, and this isn't a friendship thing. Y'all know this is the business part. I don't have friendships when it comes to this part. I don't care, I don't care. You can be the nicest person, but are you doing your job? Has she ever come out and talked to the people? Has she did a forum? I still want the list. I can't get the list of the ones that's not done. Can't get the list. So, Producer Jay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go on. Look, we're going to switch this over. If you need to get your water tested, then you need to, as soon as you go to City Hall to the right, let them know, right there to the right through the window, the navigators will let them know. If you have questions, you can always call me or email me, and I will help you.
The next one on the list is Seamus' letter, but I don't have it.
Oh, I sent it to you, but you don't.
All right, hold on. Let me check.
It's long. So in our meeting this past Wednesday, Seamus literally sends us a letter. Seamus works for the city of Flint as a something resiliency officer. I don't know if it's chief or I don't know what the title is, but he wrote us a little letter, and we're going to go through the video to show. Each week they show up unprepared, can't answer no questions, and somehow we became the problem. I don't understand that. And so which I predicted this would happen. So Seamus was showing his anus when he wrote that letter. That was it was terrible. I'm like, was he in the same room we was in? Did he not notice we was there too? Never had an answer for weeks on top of weeks on top of weeks. And then so because we asked, hey, we need to have we want to have the name of the organizations, the fiduciaries. We want to know this. And they said, well, none of the people are going to give them to you because city council has to approve it. Y'all, that is a lie. That's a lie because last year they did. I mean, all of a sudden, nobody, if you want money, you're not going to cooperate to get the money. Come on, stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. They did last year. So then they're saying, which was funny because some of them are not bright. Come to find out, 16 children in this program. Now, y'all know Liddell Lewis, Councilwoman Lewis, did not, wasn't supporting. If you didn't live in Flint, she ain't supporting the project. 16 of the kids don't live in Flint. 16. Were you able to find it, Producer Jay?
I have, you sent me JWC's response.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me read his. My bad. My bad. I had already prepared it. I just get ticked off about the water. So Seamus sent this to the council members. Beforehand, it is a word salad. It is a word buffet. Dear City Council members, it is with a profound sense of urgency and concern for both our dedicated municipal staff and the residents we serve that I write this open letter as Chief Strategy Officer. My commitment is to the effective governance and strategic advancement of our city. It has become imperative to publicly address the persistent dysfunction and systemic issues plaguing City Council proceedings, which are severely impeding our ability to conduct city business and undermining our collective progress. The challenges facing the city of Flint are significant, and our municipal staff works tirelessly to address them, striving daily to move our community forward. However, the consistent operational impediments originating from within the City Council are not merely obstacles, they are escalating into insurmountable barriers that prevent critical work from advancing. Even more distressingly, the persistent prioritization of personal animosity and internal disputes among council members continue to supersede the urgent work of governing. While our dedicated staff is expected to endure these prolonged and unproductive sessions in silence, it is unequivocally the residents of Flint who bear the true and escalating burden of this inaction. Their needs and the city's progress are being held hostage by these internal conflicts. The burden on staff is not merely an inconvenience, it is profound operational drain. Our employees, having already dedicated a full workday to serving the city, are then compelled to attend lengthy council meetings, often extending late into the evening with no assurance that their crucial agenda items will even be addressed. We have staff members incurring personal expenses such as daycare if he don't go somewhere and sit all the way down solely to be present for these sessions. Seamus, that's your job. It's in your job description. But being postponed indefinitely. Y'all should come with some answers. That's the problem. You never got any answers, not a single answer. Compounding the disrespect for municipal time and resources. Now, our time is worth something too. Come with some answers. You can take your ass home. There have been instances where council members deliberately undermine the democratic process by refusing to occupy their elected seats. Well, Councilwoman Liddell Lewis literally was calling the police on the police. Choosing instead to sit among the audience. They're intentionally preventing quorum and grinding essential city business to a halt. This deliberate obstruction is not a statement. It is divisive to the city and a dereliction of duty. Seamus, y'all never got any answers for nothing. How dare we ask questions? You don't have your 5 rubber stampers and y'all don't know what to do. I am writing this letter in full awareness that despite the gravity of these concerns, there is a possibility that fundamental change may not occur. However, I cannot in good conscience continue to remain silent about a matter so critical to the efficient operation of our city government and most importantly, to the well-being of the residents of whom we are all sworn to serve. Moving forward, I respectfully but firmly ask City Council members to consider the immense strain your current operating procedures place on our both dedicated staff and vital services to the residents. I urge you to reevaluate your conduct in meetings and focus singularly on the substantive work for which you were elected, ensuring that essential city business can fully proceed without obstruction. Sincerely, Seamus Bannon, Chief Strategy Officer, City of Flint. Okay, y'all know they don't never have no answer. Seamus, shame on you, Seamus. Shame on you, Seamus. Because you ain't got no answers. We've been asking the same answers for over 2 months because they want us to give them a blank check. Not happening. Not happening. So Councilwoman Winfrey Carter has responded. In her response to this, she states, I haven't responded because I'll see him in council meeting. So in her response, because he just lied, and let me tell you this, the mayor put him up to this because they cannot send out any correspondence unless they go through the media person, director, or whatever, the communications director. So shame on you, Seamus, with the mayor and his wife who didn't speak about the water crisis, the EPA, and you putting out Seamus Bannon this a bogus letter, okay? Because we've asked questions. Come with some answers and you can go home. Your job description tells you have to be at council. Your daycare issues are not ours. Talk to the mayor. We are moving millions of dollars and we have got questions. Y'all don't have the 5 rubber stampers. Maybe this job ain't for you, Seamus. So Councilwoman Winfrey Carter said, Dear Mr. Bannon, your open letter, though cloaked in the language of concern, is nothing more than a veiled attack on the city council, particularly members who refuse to rubber stamp this administration's agenda without transparency, accountability, or full disclosure. Let me make it clear. When I am not in my elected seat, it is because I am either ill, fulfilling responsibilities tied to my full-time job, tending to family obligations, or addressing the needs of the residents who entrusted me with this position. And frankly, my reasons for my absence are not your concern. I do not owe this administration or any of its surrogates a justification for every moment of my time, especially when that time is spent in service to the very people you claim are being let down. You speak of dysfunction and delay, yet conveniently ignore the root cause, the culture of divisiveness, gaslighting, and blatant disrespect that has been fostered and perpetrated by Mayor Sheldon Neely himself. The chaos you describe is not the result of council members standing up for the residents of the city of Flint. It is the byproduct of a mayoral administration that manipulates processes, silences dissent, and perpetuates a hostile atmosphere within council chambers and throughout the city. As Chief Strategy Officer, perhaps your focus should be less on chastising elected As Chief Strategy Officer, perhaps your focus should be less on chastising elected officials and more on ensuring that when you appear before this legislative body, you are prepared. That would be a true example of effective governance and strategic advancement. We cannot be expected to vote on critical matters when representatives of Mayor Sheldon Neely's administration consistently arrive unprepared without the necessary documentation, data, or clarity to justify their proposals. Strategic leadership starts with preparation, not finger pointing. So before casting blame on council members who are fulfilling their duty, perhaps take a look inward. Clean up the disorganization and arrogance that define this administration's dealings with the city council. To be honest, your letter was not driven by genuine concern for staff or residents. It was a calculated move in damage control. But Flint residents are not easily fooled. They see through the smoke screen. They know who truly fights for the interest and who's just towing the line to protect the mayor's political narrative. Instead of attempting to shame and scapegoat council members for standing firm in their convictions, I strongly suggest you reflect on the dysfunction radiating from within Mayor Sheldon Neely's administration itself, starting at the top with the mayor, Sheldon Neely. Respectfully, Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter. Listen, y'all, JWC, thank you. I don't need to respond. All I need to do is read your response because you spoke for all of us who are in the right. So, y'all know I'll be having a lot going on here. Ta-da. So, JWC made she made all the points. So the person who was sitting up causing all the dysfunction, literally she was going off on everybody. It was crazy. It was nuts. It was insane. It was embarrassing. But our councilwoman Karen, who she was calling the police. Producer Jay, I just sent it. Can you put it up? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So she's chastising gaslighting. I'm sorry. Make it big on the screen. I'm sorry. So she was, again, out of control. Councilwoman Karen, which is Liddell Lewis. So she got upset because she was throwing out every single resident. You can't clap. You can't cough. You can't move your hands without saying anything. They want you to sit down in your seat. You can't stand near the doorway. I mean, they come up with all these self-made rules. They have no authority outside of council chambers and really don't have 5 votes, so they don't have the authority. So Councilwoman Karen here, Liddell Lewis, got mad at the police because they weren't throwing out people. And so we'll get into the video shortly, but leave this up. So she goes over to the officer. She goes over to and there's 2 other officers that are also there. And she looks by him, says some mess to him, just disrespectful. Then she calls Chief Green. She calls the mayor. She goes over to Metcalf and Villarreal. She's calling the chief on them, and because she wants these people removed. They're not doing their job. I don't want them talking. Girl, the chambers is owned by the people. I can't wait till August. Y'all listen. We're going to have a opening day, no more garbage. They hate donuts. Look, we're going to buy donuts and get donuts to everybody that come to city council. You get to speak. You will be respected in the council chambers that are yours. That is your council chamber. So she's over there calling. So I don't know. I mean, you got Metcalf looking at the window like, here she go again. Villarreal is like, I done told her I'm not dealing with this mess. She got a problem. Something's wrong with her. And literally she was walking around. So Seamus, Liddell was the one out her seat and broke quorum that day. She broke quorum. Why? We have not had any amendments on this budget since we've been on it as new council. There hasn't been any amendments. And I want to put this for the record because I like the record to be straight because folks will lie on you. Tonya Burns has never voted on any of the mayor's budgets. I have not. I have never approved them for many reasons because there were things that it wasn't accounted for. He had no answers. I have never voted for any of his budget. So to the foolish folks saying Tonya Burns is going to vote, she always vote. Y'all stop. The lies need to stop. They really need to stop. I have never voted on the budget. Look, we can't get no answer. But Seamus is, blaming us. So you got Councilwoman Karen over there calling, broke quorum right after, because I had a whole list of stuff. We took in 64 million. We spent in 68. It's a whole list of stuff we don't know, y'all. And so she's on there calling the chief, and they looking at her like, we sick of this. We could be out there doing something. She is prioritizing throwing out the residents. She had tripod gate. How dare they be there taking pictures? So the barriers are up there. If you don't know, the barriers are up there because they don't want to be seen. So they hide down in between the barriers. They don't want you, the public. And every shot is not flattering. I've be seeing some shot. I'll be like, but it is what it is. I could care less at this point. You get what you get with me. And so the fact that we had Tripod Gate and she was literally walking around, he didn't do his job. But that was our councilwoman Karen. So yeah, I look, it's almost speechless with her. So that was Seamus's letter. So let's put up, thank you to A10 Flint, Xavier. You give me so much great content. So can we put up the first one? Seamus, y'all don't come prepared. Never, ever. So let's put up the 810 Flint, the CFO struggles. And I like Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, when he telling the truth, he got answers. When he know he can't talk or say it, it's garbled and we don't hear him. We can't understand them. I mean, we just can't at that time. So can we put up the one, CFO struggles? They never have any answers, but we the problem. No. So the water fund, so it is supposed to collect about $5 million a month, correct?
Correct.
And so if we're looking at where we're at right now, we should have collected 45 million. Do we have 45 million collected for that fund? Because it is supposed to be 60 million for our fiscal year. Am I correct? Okay.
We've done a cash flow analysis of what we expect the fund to need during the year, which assumes that we collect revenue and we also spend the money. And we do know that with this, that we will get through 2026. And we'll be in 2027 before we really have to do anything.
Okay. So what I'm asking, I'm going to say one more time, or maybe you need to get back with me. So where we're at, we should be about 45 million collected. Do we have that?
I don't have it.
I don't think we have that. If you're asking if we have 45 million in the bank, I don't think we have that in the bank right now.
We have about 18 million.
We have about 18 million in the bank.
Hey, Ariel, and Candace, because I'm sorry, I've taken your, yeah. So, Mr. Moore, I'm gonna leave that one right there because you don't have the answer. We have, when is the last time that we have had a leak test for the city? And how much of our water are we losing? Is it over 50%?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've not dealt with that side of things.
That's why I need Mr. Miller here. And because, we those are questions. And so I don't know how long and I've got more, and not to be pundit, but so this, you're making it really tough. Can you get me those answers? So listen, we have a $10 million, $9.2 million meter that registers our water loss. And it actually tells you, it's brand new.
Right.
And it should be able to tell us how much is our water loss, how much are we losing that we pay for. That's my time.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Just so you know, Mr. Moore, I'm a hell no on this, but I'm going to use my time. What based on the $5 to $7, what are you estimating the average bill to be?
That's the way I calculate. What I calculated is, I know that the $2 million is what we're estimating we'll need. I've averaged that based on the number.
So I'm going to stop you. How much do we pay GLEWA? It's $11 million. I'll answer that for you because I know you don't know it. It's $11 million, but over $5 million goes to the debt service. So for actual water, we only spend $5 million. So 5.9% of that $5 million is $372,000. That is what we are being charged additional. So how does 2 million equate to 372,000 of actual charges?
The water fund has not had a rate increase since.
We're not talking about that. I'm asking you, how does $2 million only last 1 year if the increase is only $372,000?
It's more than just water. It's the overall costs have been increasing in the last 10 years.
So that's you're breaking news, Mr. Miller or Mr. Moore, because according to everything is we are only facing a rate increase because GLEWA is charging us now. Are you saying on the record that we have to increase all of the costs across the board?
I'm not saying we have to increase. I'm saying they have increased over time.
No, what I'm saying is, so this $2 million isn't for just the GLEWA increase. We need to pay for other things. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that our cost for operating the system has increased over the last 10 years.
Yeah, our cost for everything is increased.
For everything, yes.
I get that. So how much is going for the other things and how much is going for GLEWA? Because by you putting this into a fund and trying to not be transparent, how are these dollars being spent?
My fund, the way I would define it is we're talking about an account number in the water fund.
So, and I asked you this last time, why are we creating a fund and not just doing a budget transfer to the water department?
If it makes you more comfortable, budget transfer would work just as well. I don't have a problem with that. It could be either, we were trying to make sure that people saw how the money was being used, but if you prefer to just transfer it, that also works.
So why was a fund even brought up?
It was just a way to make.
Because to my recollection, this is the first time that we've started a fund in my tenure on the seat where we've started a fund out of the blue instead of doing a budget transfer.
It would be the way it would work is go into if you set up as a fund, it'd be basically a line item in the water fund.
Okay, so
that
Mr. Moore, can you give me a breakdown of how this $2 million is going to be spent?
It'll be spent for the general expenses of the system, including water and including all other expenses.
That's pretty general. I would like a written breakdown of how much money is going to be allocated for GLEWA, how much is going to be, is some of this money going into sewer?
No.
So once again, if half of our water bill is sewer and half of it's water, how is the average rate increase $7? Are you trying to say that the average is over $200 for our because if only water is increasing and none of this money is for sewer, how are you coming up with the $5 to $7 increase? That would assume that the average bills are $200.
I'm not sure I understand how you calculate that, because if you look at the number,
smart, that's
if
why.
you look at the number of customers and divide it by the 2 million, you're going to divide that by 12, you're going to come up with the 5 to 7 a month.
Which would be a 15% increase on water? I mean, I'm assuming that water bills are average $100 in.
Thank you.
Okay, so what we ended up doing was that was the 2 million, changing it because what they wanted to do was put it in an account that they could do whatever they wanted to do with it, that it wasn't just for water. And so with asking the questions, they don't want us to ask questions because they've always had their 5 votes. With those 5 votes, nothing's questioned. It comes up, they pass it, they move on. And this administration has gotten into that. They've become accustomed to it. They don't want us asking questions. So we ask questions. That was changed. That 2 million was changed. And what it was, they could do, it didn't have to just be spent on the water. It did not. And so a new resolution was made to where there was a direct transfer. And that's what happened. So I do want to play this. As long as they've had their 5 votes, first year, 21, they didn't even show up. Was it 22? 22, they didn't even show up. 5 votes meant whatever his budget was, it passed without amendments. and Miss Inez Brown addressed it. This year, they don't have them. I mean, they'd be in and out of budget seats because they budget time because there was nothing to change. They had already pre-discussed with the mayor what they wanted, and they approved it because they all worked together. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So let's play this. This was 2022.
The floor, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. My statement here at this point in time, as in the past, is not from a political standpoint, it's from a public policy standpoint. I have been here since 1997 as the clerk, and I've worked through a number of councils, probably 10. And this is the first time that I have seen whereby the administration was not involved with respect to coming to the latter meeting that we had the other night, whether they agreed with what council was doing or whether they disagreed. So the charter does indicate that, but it does it maybe in a roundabout way. But anytime a budget is about to be adopted by the city council, someone from the administration must be here to answer and address any questions that may come up in the interim. I was angry last night myself, I have to say that, not only from a public policy standpoint as the clerk, but as Inez Brown, as a citizen of this community, all of my life practically. There was absolutely no reason for the administration not to have been represented here last night to answer the questions, the many questions that council needed to have answers to. And to the credit of the city council, last night they did adopt a budget. They adopted you all's budget. But I think moving forward, whether I'm here or not, at any point in time, when a budget of this magnitude, the annual budget has to be adopted, there must be representation from the mayor's office. There must be representation because there was absolutely no reason last night for that not to happen. I'm getting calls myself from people throughout the community, received calls last night, as well as text during the meeting itself as to where's the administration. So I think it's important moving forward that these kind of things are addressed in an appropriate fashion. The other thing I wanted to respond to as it relates to what Mr. Edwards indicated, the departmental hearings that were held was in conjunction with whatever departments you all have. We always have departmental hearings for every budget. There's never been a time when we did not have hearings. It is not necessary for all of the entire council to show up at the hearings, but I would have to give this council credit, this particular council, and I'm not.
The floor, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
So they don't have 5 votes anymore. And so this is going to be interesting for the first time. This is going to be interesting. So if Seamus is saying we come there and we don't, we don't have questions or we're wasting their time. No, Seamus, y'all wasting our time because you never got any answers. So let's play the next one. Xavier 810 Flint, y'all go over there and take a look. Click like his page. He's on YouTube and on Facebook because his information is phenomenal. And congratulations, Xavier, if you're watching or you're graduating. Congrats. So let's play the next one. What are we voting on? Because listen, Seamus wrote that letter. Shame on you, Seamus. Shame on you. So let's play the next one. Thank you, 810 Flint.
Both applications from the city of Flint for.
Oh, no, not that one.
Eric Mays.
This one, maybe you didn't get it. Let me, that was the worst paperwork ever, which we in budget time. So how we going to pay for these centers? Okay, should be at the top or the bottom or wherever it's at. I just resent it. So Phil Johnson said, in most city councils, routine for departments to be present and have reports. Literally, we asked them during our last budget one, was it last week? Could you please have, nobody could answer the questions. I asked them, could you please have the department head? Because Clyde didn't know. Mr. Moore didn't know. What are we doing budget? And y'all don't have nobody here who have the answers. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. And yep, here we look. Here we go again, y'all. Now this is now I like Shelly Sparks Green. I like Shelly, but Shelly, you came there with no answers, and Seamus came with no answers too. Let's play this.
I wholeheartedly agree with what my councilwoman in the Fifth Ward said. At this point, I'm just trying to, the 7 that were picked last year that we didn't know about, but I think the 5 council people that were rubber stamping everything, rubber stamped this one as well. It looks like my colleague in the 7th Ward's employer got money.
Sure did not. Point of information. Ms. Sparks Green, would you like to correct that?
There were, no. In the what ward?
Me.
No. No, she didn't.
Correct, but would you like to correct that?
The 6 listed on the page, on the second, what page is that? The second page tells you which ones got the money.
I'm sorry, so the Flint Community Water Lab that just listed on 2 different pages of what what they did, and then the second one, they learned about science and career opportunities, like, so this document isn't true of what happened last year?
Correct. Request for information.
I don't know what.
Are my colleagues aware of the fact that she just stood here and told y'all they had to rush and get sites? One of the sites that took students but did not take money, that the city administered all money, kept all money, was the Flint Community Lab.
Where does it say that in this?
I don't have anything to do with that. I know you're trying to spread a mistruth, and I know I'm correcting it. I just asked her to correct it, so I'm correcting it for you.
That's not a correct point of order.
Yeah, I didn't ask for a point of order. I said point of information.
Anyways, this is my time.
And you're lying. So correct him.
Okay, so there was various amount. Each organization didn't get the same amount because all.
I didn't ask if they got the same amount.
Okay, but let me just finish, if you will. So none of the organizations. So one of the their organization.
I don't want my time taken away for this. I didn't ask.
No, I'm telling you. If you just let me explain
that, but you're answering that, but my time is clicking.
I'm telling you that some organizations, that organization did not collect money.
Okay.
Some organizations got less than others.
So how would I know that? If this document, this is what the program was last year.
A point of order.
Every person.
What is your point?
I'm not sure.
The clock isn't moving.
Start his time.
And I'm just continuing on. This is what is provided to me. And I certainly wouldn't have got my yes vote for Cathedral of Faith to teach the importance of faith and confidence when navigating through life experiences through cleanup and mentorship. What the hell does that mean?
Well, we didn't want the kids to just be cutting grass. We wanted to learn something. So as they was going to each one of these organizations, they were able to teach them things
But there should be a separation of church and state. And so what are we funding? We're funding for them to be preached to?
Request for information.
That's not.
Please pause this time. What is your request?
Is my colleague aware that at Cathedral of Faith that they run day camps and day cares and different youth activities that's totally separate from the church entity?
That's what he's trying to figure out now.
That
Thank
is
you.
not what this says. I read what they are saying that this did. So I'm not going to take up the rest of my time because this is nonsense until you can tell me who is getting the money, what they're going to be doing, how many people they're going to hire, how much dollar per hour they're going to hire. This is not going to get my vote.
That information is in there.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Thank you, Ms. Sparks Green. You can continue to speak.
the information about how we pay the kids and the organizations is in there. And it was in there from last year, the same thing. And so I don't understand. I mean, I just think that you can't put the cart before the horse. Okay, so if we don't pass this resolution and we get out there and get all these people excited about it, then you don't pass it. Don't you need to have the money first before you start working with? I mean, that's how I would think.
All right, thank you. You know, summer is something that young people should look forward to and not dread, especially over here on the north side. I don't know how we're living over there in the 8th Ward. I don't know how we're living over there in some parts of the 5th Ward. But I know that people are getting homes shot up. Young people are dying daily. And it's crazy that we have colleagues that are, this is not the first time, but the second time they're talking about blocking money.
Please pause the time. What's your request?
So this money is only going to help your ward?
Well, let me tell you where the violence is coming from. Let's see. Great point.
Okay, she is hostile. So let's put up where the 300,000 is now at. So 300,000 came to us in a committee meeting. It was Candace Machat, that this is her organization. You just heard Shelley say her organization, because Candace works for Shelley. So we had it originally come to city council. It voted on 5 votes, voted on it in city council in a committee meeting to send it to council. Candace and Liddell both voted. Candace was her 5th vote. That 300,000 went to council. They pulled it back. Ed Taylor came up like, hey, we ain't got nothing to do with this. We didn't approve this. We have nothing to do with this. So guess where the 300,000 is at now? Flint Community Lab, sponsor State Representative Cynthia Neely. $300,000. Description. The funding will support the Flint Community Lab's work in providing residents with an independent and reliable source of water quality testing. Oh, bless me. Bless me. We're gonna start it over. The funding will support the Flint Community Lab's work in providing residents with an independent and reliable source of water quality testing, while continuing youth workforce development and STEM education programs. The Flint Community Lab is a sponsored project of the Great Lakes Aquatic Habitat Network and Fund DBA, doing business as Freshwater Future. The initiative delivers clear public benefits by ensuring access to trustworthy water. So thank you for all the blessed shoes, everybody. Thank you. I didn't take a Benadryl beforehand. So we see how it went from the mayor to the state rep, from the city, 300,000 to the state rep, 300,000. Because Candace's job in the Dells is to make sure you keep the other council, withhold information, transparency, and we're going to make sure you get paid on the other end. This literally, you can't make this up. It was in city council. They're like, oh, it's got too hot. It's got too hot. They know about it. We're going to put it in her package and see if they can sneak it through. We're going to sneak it through to the state rep who was married to the mayor. This is why you should never vote on husband and wife together. This ain't working for Flint. We should ideally be doing better, but we're not. So Candace's 300,000, as Sheila just said, hers is now at the state level to be approved. It went from the city. Liddell pulled it back after Ed stood up and said, hey, we're not doing this. Because they were getting kind of antsy. They were trying to push stuff through, and they were getting kind of antsy. So this is where the 300,000 is now at. And so they do their jobs to talk nasty, put the residents out, control what they think the council members, kick them out. You speak up. They make up lies. You out of order. That's a warning. All this crazy mess. I can't wait till August. I can't wait. Can't wait. And so we see what they do. You wash my back, I'm gonna wash your back. What do the residents get? 0, 0, 0, 0. This is a problem. So I wanted y'all to see that part. Of course, I live down the road in Pontiac, and I've been following Flint City Council for the past year. Liddell and Candace is the most rudest council women I've ever seen. They are very rude, disrespectful, and it's bad. It's bad. So Seamus should have been talking about them. So on to the next one, because I had to slip that one in there since she talked about that. So you see, they still don't have the answers. They still don't. They don't have the answers, but we do know, they're like, oh, no one's going to apply till you prove it first. But then you hear Shelley say, it's the same information as last year. So last year you put it on, but this year you can't do it. Come on now, stop. They want us to give them a blank check. Not doing it. Not doing it. So one of the things we know they've been a stickler on, and these are the names, but we're gonna go over. Producer Jay, what's up next? I think I gave you timestamps. He's probably downloading, y'all. Producer Jay.
All right. Yeah, I was working on that timestamp. All right, I'm about to put it up.
Oh, with the timestamp?
1:13.
All righty. Thank you, sir. And y'all hit that click, like, share, and then along at the bottom of the card, donate to Producer Jay. Hit the look, tip the producer. It ain't on the crawl right now, though, but it'll be back up there. At Producer J 1987 Cash App, because I want to make sure I give y'all good information. Oh, there we go. Please kindly donate to Cash App Producer J, $ Producer J 1987. This is how I am able to bring you good information, and I bring you with the receipts and to show you what is going on. I do it to be transparent. All right, let's hit it.
An opinion. Go ahead. This is the discussion. We're at the first round on resolution 250131. Members speaking were Mr. Pfeiffer, Dr. Lewis, and Ms. Mashat. Is there any other discussion on this resolution in the first round? Seeing none, I'll entertain any discussion on the second round. Is anyone
Madam
like to
Chair.
speak in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I heard that the rationale for not moving forward with this was because of the lack of one attorney in the law office. So through you to the councilman in the 8th Ward. So how does that hold a bearing on this resolution? I mean, we can laugh, but it's a city business, so that's fine. So the councilman in the 8th Ward refused to answer the question.
Mr. Woodson, you may leave. Yes, he did get a warning. He got a warning earlier.
Madam Chair.
This is your warning. It will be possible, but this is your warning.
Y'all give me this hill, man. Y'all set the tone, man. That's right.
Hi, Art. We'll miss you. Is there any other discussion in the second round?
So as I was saying, I didn't finish my time.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So I asked the councilman in the 8th Ward, what was the link between the two so we can have an understanding. And according to our rules, you ask a request through the chair for the information so it can help you decide your next vote. And that's exactly what I was doing. And so since the councilman in the 8th Ward refused to engage per his requested duty as a councilman, Now we don't have information and we're sitting over here mad. This is when we talk about personalities taking over the job. We can't afford to have this happen. We must be consistent with the rules and we must work with colleagues. If we're not going to work with colleagues, please continue to stay home, take another vacation, get absent again. But those that come, we're here to do the work. And giggling and laughing about the work not taking place is not funny. So I would like to definitely compel my colleague in the 8th Ward. You've been missing for several weeks. Please go and then take care of your loved
Point
one.
of order. Wasn't the colleague absent in the last meeting? And she's going to call me absent?
Thank you. And so, if you want to talk about that point of order, I had a conversation with the chair. They knew why I was not here. Okay, so we must make sure that we keep the main thing. The main thing is Mr. Pfeiffer not stating what one lawyer being minus from the legal department have to do with not moving this resolution forward to council. I don't understand. And so since I don't understand, I can't be in support of keeping this in finance. So I'm going to vote that we move this to council, and hopefully my colleagues will get on board and supply the information so we can move as a body, as a functioning body. But again, if I'm not here, I watch the meeting and I know what's going on. So and I encourage my other colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Request for, no, I'm gonna do a point of order because you need to, according to our charter, and there's a lot of disrespect, page 26, section 3-104, it speaks of decorum. She doesn't have decorum. And you need to warn her. She's talking about monkeys and what in making allegations. That's not what in our charter. It states that we must be respectful to the constituents and to each other.
Ms. Burns, I did call that point of order when she discussed the monkey issue out of order. I did call her out of order for that.
Producer Jay, can we go on to 136? So pause and then we go to 136. So this is what she does all meeting. Liddell's energy is terrible. Her words are divisive. She gaslights the community. And she was harassing the police in the chambers all meeting long, just doing crazy stuff. And so I don't even know where she, just nuts. So let's go to the 136, I believe. Can we go to that one?
Staff to sit here, to be here all day, work, and then come here.
Hold on, let's pause it.
Wrong.
So this is Seamus. Seamus is stepping up there. Now, he ain't had no answers. He done went home and wrote a letter, but he had no answers, 0 answers. So let's go, let's do this. Shameful Seamus, I like that. Producer Jay.
Man, I had it planned and didn't even put it on. I'm sorry. Hold on.
It's hard as staff to sit here, to be here all day, work, and then come here, and then things get prolonged. We don't know if we're going to come to work with quorum. We don't know what's going to happen. I have a babysitter I'm paying at home. We all have things going on outside of this. All we're trying to do as staff, excuse me for being transparent, is just do our job. That's all we're trying to do.
And I'm fine with you being transparent. And that's where I have always been very straightforward with you in respect. And as a mom who has had my children are grown, I completely understand. You know, and I've seen your little one here who was very well behaved. So I do want to say this. So last year we did have the names of the organizations. This year we don't. And that is a problem for me. I would like to see who we're giving money to. And I will not approve anything unless I see who it's going to. One, because we had a Lion Bishop who said, I brought people here from, let me read the post, a whole post that I don't even know how to do the boots on the ground. It just happens to be her lying bishop. And so when she stated, and this is why, because I don't believe him teaching people faith when he can't even tell the truth. So if he's getting it, I'm not supporting it. Get the names on it, then I will. Because he put, actually, I must speak up. This is embarrassing and out of order on every level. For a city council member to orchestrate a line dance or a city council meeting is ridiculous. To bus people in from Chicago to disrespect our city government is a huge dereliction of duty. So much important city business going on undone because members of the council, less than 50% attendance. This madness must stop. My attendance is not less than 50%, but I'm not going to give money to a bishop who tells lies and puts it on social media and then blocks you when you want to comment. I won't do that. So if you guys can get the organizations, put them there like you did. We're not asking you to do something that you didn't do prior last year, and you put them on our agendas, the same names, which when it first came back up, it was the same organizations that were on there. We didn't receive anything different. Then when questioned, now we don't have any. So if you can get the organizations, because if I am a nonprofit, I'm going to let you know that I'm interested. We don't even have names. I will not blindly vote yes on something that we don't even have a name on. And we don't. And that's just not fair. And I think it's also unfair to say people will not do it because they did it last year. All of the organizations last year put their names on there. Now, if the mayor chooses to do his 75,000 and under, which seems to be his go-to, then that's his choice. He can do it 3 times, which will pay for it. But without names, and we did it last year because we can't say, I think it's wrong to say as council, sign this blank check and we'll figure it out later. That same thing happened with them golf courses that we paying them $72,000. We don't even know how much they're taking in liquor sales. We don't know about the marijuana parties that they have there. The city's not getting any of that revenue. So I'm just saying, if you can get the names, because not having the names, I don't see, or certain council people not having them, it's not going to be approved. Give me some names, then we can look at it. We did it last year. There shouldn't be a problem doing it again this year, putting the names. If they're, you got them. Last year we had enough that knew and they got their money. They got it. So it should be this year, but slipping it through, and I'm not saying that it's you, Seamus, that's doing it, but it seems to be very disingenuous to not put the names on there and saying, you better sign it, or we're gonna call a press conference and call you obstructionists, call you terrorists, and say council doesn't get anything done, because that's what the mayor does. He's done it repeatedly to the council members that he doesn't like in the news. He repeatedly goes after the city council. If you have this up here, we can say, okay, well, we can approve this. Maybe we're not sure about this organization. We don't have any organization to even deny right now. Not one. And I know it's not you. And that way I understand.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Didn't she just deny was that Pastor Martin's church? Not church,
Look,
but his
you and your lying
nonprofit.
bishop, you need to
Because
be
he
quiet.
just
This is
said,
my time.
she just said that we don't have any
Listen.
organization to deny. And she just
there is
said
no name
during her
on
debate.
here. He has, then I want my little time back here because the clock was a ticking.
Yeah, go ahead and put it back to 10 seconds. Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Listen, we don't have any. No one, you have not given us one name. If you give us some names, I don't think we should be using tax dollars to let Bishop Martin teach people about faith when he can't tell the truth.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round? Go
Madam
ahead.
Chair.
Okay, you can cut it.
So,
So can we take it? One of the points I want to show, I think it's at 1:32, where she states the children live in Flint. Can we slide it back to that? I'm sorry. I think it's 1:32. Yeah, because this minute and 30, a minute and 32, I'm like 50. If we can, I think, is my internet freezing, y'all? And yes, Judy was very nasty and rude because look, she got 295,000 in her ward that she just sent over to the on the state rep. So let's play that. Thank you.
A lot of us don't even go into the schools. We talk about it, but we don't go into there. A lot of us were in there, and those that are in there, those young people said that they want youth jobs. They do. So if we are, and they're residents of the city, so if we are supposed to be, can we stop my time?
Yelling out, and I'm going to start issuing more warnings. So I'm asking you, please, to allow us to conduct our business. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, because this conduct will not be accepted at the Board of Commissioners. They would not do it. So we need to set a precedent that you will not and cannot do that here. But my point is, the youth spoke out and said with their voices, we want youth jobs. The people on the north end, and I trust people all over the city, want youth jobs. But I know on behalf of the second ward, they called me and they told me, I have monthly meetings. And I hear directly from the second ward. And they said they want their neighbors, they want their grandkids, children, nieces, and nephews with youth jobs. For us to keep stalling this is preposterous and it makes no sense. And we're doing the residents a disservice. So as we sit up here and laugh and giggle and think this cute and do this for click, likes, and shares, I'm doing this for the people that I vowed to do this for. Otherwise, I could do something else. But since I'm here,
please pause the time. Point of order.
Go ahead.
The young lady with the blonde hair and the security yelled out. I believe Miss Claire McLean also yelled out.
Yeah, and she's. I've been watching her, and next time,
Oh my God.
she will get a warning. Go ahead, Miss.
I mean, this is just unfortunate. We got grown people acting like kids when we're trying to talk about youth jobs. Now, don't say you care about the youth when you clap and you support this kind of foolishness. Shame on every single one of you that vote against youth jobs. Shame on every single one of you that are carrying on acting. I mean, now we see why a lot of the kids act the way they do. What an example we have. So we are looking forward to the colleagues that you're doing what they do, but youth will have jobs this summer.
Excuse me, this is your warning. This is your second warning. You are removed from this meeting. Go ahead. You are removed from this meeting.
You're telling me that I'm removed from this meeting? I'm forced to go?
Yes.
Is this under threat of arrest?
Point of order.
What's your point?
According of the disorderly person city code subsection, it states that any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject for arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. That is my point.
Thank you.
Okay, let's cut it. The animosity and the anger. So there was a question, are there any yes, there is a Boys and Girls Club and it's thriving. There's a Boys and Girls Club, there's Flint PAL, there's Teen Quest, there's Job Corps. So one thing that we found, they will not put the names of the organizations. They want us to vote on this without the names. We can't do that. We're not supposed to do that. These jobs are supposed to be for Flint kids. It's not. On this list, 16 of the kids do not reside in the city of Flint from the program they rubber stamped last year with those 5 votes. Those 5 votes, Liddell's pastor was one of them, 16 kids out of all of those children do not reside within the city of Flint. They do not. And so that was for the Flint Clean and Safe Youth Jobs. And they don't. And so vetting is important. Having the name of the organization is part of the vetting process. That's what we're required to do. So Seamus, shame on you. Shame on you. Did we do 136 and or we did? Can we do 152?
I got a question.
Yes.
So with this youth jobs program,
Mm-hmm.
why have nobody from the community that lives in Flint come up to the podium or lectern and said how important it is for these jobs to have these jobs if they're so important?
I don't know. I can't answer that. People want to know how many kids. Shouldn't be any, Michelle. And so I'd have to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Maybe it's because of kickbacks.
$54. I think 50 something. So 16 out of 50 something did not live in the city of Flint. That's a huge percentage. Huge percentage. Huge one. Because Liddell goes on to say, we had to turn away Flint kids because they wanted these jobs. Well, you had 16 of them in it that weren't Flint kids. But let's go to that one, because here's the thing, because it says a Flint address doesn't mean it's in Flint. And the geniuses, Liddell and Candace, didn't realize that. If it was Flint Township, it was Mount Morris Township, it may have a Flint posting but it's not a Flint job. I mean, a Flint, it's not in Flint. And so 16 verified children that came out of the conference of the city of Flint got those jobs. And if they had vetted them, I don't know, this is the city's, Seamus, this should be his job. Seamus, I need you to do your job. Seamus, why didn't you vet to make sure that these kids were here? 16 youth for Flint were turned away because according to Liddell, she had so many more children that needed these jobs. So many more. And it was going to lower crime and they could pay bills in the house because they would be adding to the income of the house. When do you make kids responsible to be adults? That is just crazy. That's just ludicrous. So Seamus, you wrote that letter. Did you vet these children to make sure last year because you were here? No, you didn't. So let's go to that next one, which would be 152 timestamp, please.
Chambers.
Exactly.
0.
This is the second round of discussion. Anyone?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Seamus, are you aware that according to last year's report that students I'm not going to say students, I'm going to say youth outside of Flint received these jobs? Are you also aware that one of the recipients?
RL.
Are you also aware that one of the recipients organizations gave a job to one of their own children?
I mean, I'm obviously taking your word for your controversy.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Who were they? And who did they work for?
Are you aware of that?
Is it a fact?
It's on the paper. I'm assuming it came from the organization or from the administration. We didn't put these packets together.
Request for information.
What's your request?
Can we all receive the same paper so we all can be on the
We
same?
all have the same paper.
Okay.
It's in
All
the
right.
packet.
So is there?
So obviously you're not aware. I'm going to take that you're not aware of those things that.
I'm standing in for a person tonight, as I stated at the very start. Sir.
Okay, well, no offense, but if you can't speak to the stuff, then just say that the person's not here and you can't speak.
I said that at the very start.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other discussion?
This is the second round?
Yes,
How many people are spoken in the second round?
just Mr. Pfeiffer. I do not see, Mr. Pfeiffer, excuse me,
Oh.
point of information.
Okay. Mi-
Mr. Pfeiffer, can you please tell me where on this resolution that says that non-resident students received money from this program?
You can put the addresses around that were given for the people that were given the jobs.
I don't see listed. Go ahead, Ms. Mashat. Oh, Dr. Lewis.
Thank you. So as we look, and our colleague won't tell us where, oh, exactly. We are looking to see which,
Let's see this.
where. So, three. Good luck.
So, point of information.
What's your point?
I'm looking at the page and all of these say Flint, Michigan.
Yeah,
So if we could kind of see where else, because all of these say Flint, Michigan.
right. And we're talking
Excuse
about.
me. Excuse me.
Yeah, so,
No
Madam
yelling out.
Chair, could you please give him a warning for yelling out?
I just, go ahead.
Madam Chair, he was the one that left talking about F you, so I just want to be on alert. We can't have people yelling out as we conduct business.
Thank you.
So anyway, it's my time, so we can just go ahead and let my time continue to roll. Thank you. According to this Flint Clean and Safe Summer Youth Jobs, I'm looking, Mr. Seamus, and I don't see it. I don't see one street that is not Flint. All of these streets look familiar to be City of Flint
Request for
Street.
information.
What's your request?
To Ms. Lewis, some of these, Mill Creek is, they may say Flint, but that does not mean that they're in Flint. For example, my mother's address says Flint, but it's Mount Morris Township.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Mill Creek is not.
Thank you.
Mill Creek is not, as I'm looking at this.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burns. And that is the new McCree Theater, that is in the Second Ward, and that's also the theater of Jerry Winfrey Carter's father. So we can go ahead and make sure that we don't give them funding because they are, so they are making sure that they are accepting youth not from Flint. So thank you for that. And so back to my point, I don't want to gatekeep. I want to uphold the rules. And so if the rules say that you must only employ kids that live in Flint, which this is what the money is for, we want to make sure that that's the case. So since you have identified the New McCree Theater as an employer that is employing youth outside the city of Flint, we will make sure that
She's speaking to my motives, telling a lie. I did not say that it was the New McCree. That is what you said. I told you where Mill Street was.
Wait, excuse me.
I did
can
not state
address this?
McCree at all.
Can I address this? Mill
Please do.
Creek is actually in Flint Township. Whether they received payment or not, I don't know. But that resident is in Flint Township, and it is the address of one of the students.
So, no, request for information.
What?
Madam Chair, did you know that what she said was, one of our colleagues said it was Mill Creek. The other colleague pointed out that that was under McCree Theater's employment. I think we're missing the point. One pointed out that it was under, that it says Mill Creek, and the other pointed out who the service provider was.
And I know that there was at least one person who was employed at McCree who did not receive funding.
All right, but this is what we have here, since we have colleagues that want to gatekeep. Colleagues that have said from their elected seat tonight that if an organization is here that they're not going to pass it. It's not our job to gatekeep, and it's not our job to approve the organizations. Our job is to pass money and ordinances. That's what our job is to do. And our job is also to meet with the mayor as he extended the olive branch to the office so he can hear our priorities. He's been saying that all year, and he sent out another email. And so we have colleagues that's refusing to do so. So going back to my point, so seeing that the New McCree Theater.
What's your
Point of order. She does not need to speak a violation Robert's rules 43.21. She don't know if we denied to meet with him or not. So stop her from lying.
Go ahead, Ms.
Okay, so this conversation wouldn't even need to be had if you meet with the mayor. But the point is, our colleague pointed out that Mill Creek is not in Flint. You're right. And Mill Creek, McCree is employing students that lived on Mill Creek. So what we just came to the conclusion of, the New McCree Theater is employing
Request
people
for
outside of Flint.
What's your request?
I think we might want to look at Knickerbocker Avenue too. I think that's Beecher. That's not McCree. So that's the good church.
All righty. Well.
Go ahead, Ms.
All right, thank you. So if we look that up on the property portal, because I don't like to assume. So Madam Chair, can we pause the time? So we can just, so we can look that up, because I want to be clear and I want to be factual. Everyone that's clapping in the background, we know that the civil war lady have a odd relationship with the truth. So we're going to make sure that we.
Point of information. Is that like your bishop and you?
Excuse me.
Request for information.
I was just going to answer the one about Knickerbocker.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That is not in the city. Same with, I think I looked up Brook.
So my association is with the truth is really good then.
Did you have another, Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Jarrett? Okay.
Right. Okay. So we can go ahead and make note of that as well. Again, this is not about gatekeeping. I'm not up here saying who I will not give money to without a valid reason. And so we need to move on and do what's in the best interest of the youth. Let's pass these jobs. But it's been stated on the mic that we are gatekeeping in the 6th Ward. And point of order, can we please have our officers go in the back, because they should not be yelling out and blurting out. They should not. They're being disorderly in the back corner.
They absolutely are.
Okay, let's stop it. Y'all, she is a hypocrite. I'm not gatekeeping. Now, y'all remember her playing that recording of St. Mark's, and somebody gonna have to, we gonna have to get a clip where she says she's not or was it that her word gatekeeping is the word. And gatekeeping. They're gatekeeping. You said St. Mark, because according to their contract, you have to feed people. And they cannot turn down. That is the most basic part of humanity, is to feed people. That's why they get the trucks from the food bank they feed hundreds of people with one truck that they get for $1,000. And that includes protein and meat. And she said St. Mark shouldn't be funded because of that. She also lied and said, her and Judy lied too, that St. Mark's got $1.5 million. He did not. That money went to the 7th richest county in the state of Michigan out of 83. It went to St. Mark's Episcopal in Grand Rapids. It did not go to St. Mark's in Flint. They lied. Liddell is a liar. I'm telling you the facts, not what you can Google it, if I got time, I'll find it to put it up. It went to St. Mark's Episcopal Church. It is in Kent County, the 7th richest county out of 83 in the state of Michigan. The $78,000 was the community block grant money. St. Mark's did not get that because Mayor Sheldon Neely did not sign off. I was told the $1.5 million, State Rep Cynthia Neely blocked it in the House. I'm not telling you what I thought. I'm telling you when I called around, and that's why we have no representation. Who's looking out for Flint? The 1.5 million, I was told it was blocked by her. She's the state rep. The 78,000 for St. Mark, the mayor, we passed it in council. The mayor refuses to sign off, period. Now, on here, where she's saying gatekeeping, when she played it, there we have the pastor from St. Mark is saying he feeding other people. Yeah, you in line because you hungry and you need food. She started this crazy garbage and something is wrong. So Seamus should have tailored his letter to Liddell and to Candace and to Judy, your friends. They're your friends. They're the problem. But Judy, they have money that now the state rep, Candace's 300,000 is now there to be approved. Not just her 300,000. We've also got Judy's got for her ward. Judy's got 295,000 for her ward that she wants approved. Also in here, there is this faith-based where she wants, or State Rep Cynthia Neely wants that. But does she really know what the community has consistently said? We need home repair. We want our service lines complete. We need new in-home plumbing. None of that. Where is her for the schools? What she's got on here. Here's Judy's. So this is why they're doing what, they are the true gatekeepers. And I'm putting it up so I can show you. So, Debbie, can you take a minute? You need to give me a call. I need to speak with you. Okay, I will give me a minute. Can you put that up? What she? I don't have your number, Debbie. You can give me a call on 810-471-7849. 810-471-7849. So this is what Judy's Asbury Community Development. So now this is a good project. Sponsor State Rep Cynthia Neely. Description: ACDC's Youth Workforce Development Program, where summer jobs in youth ages 14 to 18 will receive leadership training, financial literacy training, hands-on work experience, and exposure to community service, urban farming training, culinary training, and will receive access to VR Skilled Trade Center path exploration. So Judy is being hard and nasty too, because her voice and her tone is despicable and disrespectful, because she has hers. So the mayor likes it when you're nasty. And I'm going to tell you, not what I think, I'm telling you what I know, because he asked me to go after then Councilwoman Galloway. I told him no. He says, well, I need someone to go after her. Literally showed up at breakfast after there was a meeting on the second Tuesday in 2020. We had a community meeting in my ward. I was there. He was there. That was part of my job. When I left to go have breakfast, he showed up where I was at breakfast. And so I need to go after Monica Galloway, Councilwoman Galloway. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm not going to make up stuff. I'm not going to go after. No, just no. I said, I will not take a jewel out of another woman's crown. And I meant that. And I didn't do it. Y'all know I got fired every day. And I told y'all, I'm going to do his dirty work. He likes dirty work. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what happened. So Judy is doing the dirty work. I want you to go after Tonya. I want you to go after Tonya. Liddell, okay? Go after Tonya. Go after Tonya, Dennis, and Jerry. Go after the four of them. Beat them down. I don't know what it does for him, but it does something for him. He loves it. It just excites him. It excites him. And so they come here to be disrespectful to us. But here's the thing. This is what these, and I'm going to call them dummies, keep doing. Liddell is the president of the city council. Judy is the finance chair. Candace is the interim vice president. When they talk about council, it includes y'all. This is underneath Liddell's leadership, Candace's leadership, and Judy. They're not working with their with the legislative, their executive branch. Clearly, They don't understand. Debbie, the number is 810-471-7849. 810-471-7849. They're working against their own, what they were elected to do. They think they're part of the executive branch, and they're the legislative. They don't even know who they're part with and who they're working for. So the mayor's encouraging and telling them to go after him. He's dividing it, and them dummies are falling for it. Hook, line, and sinker each single time. But we see why. Judy's got 250. I think this is a good project. She doesn't talk about it. I actually went to the state rep because I want to know what is she doing, because we don't have representation. And that's where we have to hold their hands to the fire. We know that Candace's hers went to the state rep. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch your back. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And so when we look at these things, I put them up so you can see what's going on. When I was trying to figure out why is Pastor Thompson didn't get that 1.5 million, I called Senator Cherry, I called McDonald Rivet, I called, it was everybody, and literally, and talking, why are we not getting this money? We see what he is doing. Liddell Lewis has been in that line for her to even vote down the $50,000 that we could give. Then we said, give them all $25,000. And they were like, well, we don't want to do that. Because we're not paying Pastor Thompson because he feeds everybody. We now know that these folks, and including her pastor, Cathedral of Faith, has got 4 students, because she said, do not fund the ones which are not in the city of Flint. Do not fund them. They must only be Flint kids. Well, in her church, someone lives on Glen Meadow Court, not in Flint. Linden Lanes, not in Flint. Shavalum, not in Flint. Chisholm, not in Flint. She has got 4 from her church. So do we not fund her church? Because that's what she said. That's what she said. And so when we see that, there is no representation. I don't think people understand that what we're not getting in the city, we're not getting also from we're not getting from our state rep. And so, we get this problem. People are voting names. Jarvis, why do we let Lewis and Machette scream out after a point, or it's supposed to be ruling? It's supposed to be number 2 and 4. Absolutely. So that is a problem. It's a problem. So do we not do theirs? I mean, I'm just wondering. Now, the only one that vetted theirs was Angela under Faith Foundation. She didn't have any. All the other organizations did have some. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 organizations. There were 6 organizations. There was only one that actually vetted theirs, and that was Angela's. But the rest of them, they do not. And so this is the problem. And so 16 children, as Liddell said, we had too many kids, and the kids were not able to get the classes and get the jobs. And that part was just something. I mean, but you got 16 that they don't get them. They did 16 children. And she was so quick, she should read hers like Councilman Pfeiffer. He won't give it to her. We're not entitled to give them the information to read it the way. They don't share their stuff with us. They do not. So we know that in August things will be changing, and to where either Beverly Biggs and AC Dumas actually were voted. They will move on. We know that the recount, the numbers stayed the same, and so I am going to give kudos to our city clerk, because this is the first time she had an election that there were no hiccups. She's made a lot of changes, and the changes obviously worked. And they had one issue of the recount, and they were able to get the recount done without issue. I want to know who was paying for all those attorneys and stuff that she had, because I mean, where did LaShawn get all of that? That was a lot. So thank you. So AC Dumas had 165. Thank you, producer Jay. Y'all look, tip the DJ, tip producer Jay. So primary votes, AC Dumas 165 votes, Beverly Biggs 165 vote. Third Ward Flint City Council primary election. They both received the same amount of votes. Congratulations to both of them. For keeping and having a good race, and making sure that they shook hands. This is at the actual recount, and at the recount, they stated that they're going to be civil to each other. It's going to be respectful. And I love the fact that, this picture speaks volumes. I'm quite sure she will be running a campaign, a write-in campaign. But y'all check this out. It's something in the House for May 29th. And guess what it's called? The sore loser law. So if that is, I think I sent that to you. So if that passed, she can't be on there. And so it's supposed to be up on May 29th. And on May 29th, what was Michael Clack's question? Because he watches it enough to know we don't have 5 votes. Them people out of control up in there. Liddell so rude to everybody. Why don't the council members vote on warnings? How does the chair or president have exclusive power to grant warnings? Because that's in the council rules that was adopted on 4/22/24. And so we have the ability to make our own council rules when Robert's rules doesn't speak to it directly. And we know that Liddell and Candace run those council meetings like tyrants. The goofy council rules do have to be changed, but I don't know. If we change in August, we might have to keep some of the rules because they won't be able to say mum's a word. So that's why those rules are like that. When Robert's rules don't speak to it, we have our own city council rules. And that is why. Yep. So, and they run it like they're tyrants. You see, I don't know, Mike Clark, I think you've got thrown out. I would say everybody in here from Flint, if you've been thrown out, put a 1 in the comments. But y'all know we be up to about 1,000. And Kawana Mack been put out so many times. Arthur was, look, even the new folks who come get thrown out. You can't clap, you can't do anything. So here you have at the recount, and you have, yeah, you've been thrown out too. And so I like to see that they're saying, and literally I had shared it with y'all. My best case scenario, best wish was Beverly Biggs and AC Dumas make it through. Don't have anything against LaShawn Johnson because I really don't know her. She speaks to me. I speak to her. I have nothing against her. I don't know her. I have nothing against her. I did say if she was going to continue that Little League, I would help her. I did I did state that. But having them both move forward. I know she will be running I'm quite sure LaShawn's going to do a write-in campaign, but before the House, it is a bill about the sore loser. And that is keeping people, if you lost the race, it's keeping you off from being a write-in. We've had people who have been write-ins who did not make it in the primary and went to the general. We have Berta Baby. We need I like that. We ain't studying law. And so, the so, so you can, I think I have it, and I, when you're doing your research, look, yeah, if I can't, my nerves are bad, I read. And I read a lot, and I try to make sure what I'm doing is bringing people good information. So the sore loser law has been, and I think I sent that to you, Producer Jay. But listen, y'all,
I was just looking for it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I thought I sent it to you. MCL, here we go. It's got the Lansing camp. I'm sending it back to you. And so that means people can't be on the ballot. So we had elections. We had the first ward, we had a write-in, and it got down to Leon L. Alameen and Carol McIntosh. And Rose Amaro lost. And Rose, when she lost, she decided, which was her right, by law, she could be a write-in. And so as Clack put in there, he lost against State Rep Cynthia Neely, and he stated he was a write-in. So this law will stop people from being write-ins. These two will be on the ballot. They expect that this will pass. I think they reconvene on May 29th, and this will be on there. Clack said, I did a write-in last summer after I lost because I was a sore loser. I can read. I'm done with you with that. I'm done with you. You can read that. Oh, Lord. So, I can't read that, y'all. That's so small. And so Michigan election law, so this is the one that it is. So it's the sore loser law. And it goes before the House on May 29th when they reconvene. So I just want to share that part with you. And I bet they wish Rich hadn't been on them 21 votes. Might have helped LaShawn. But Mayor Neely and them were entertaining Rich Jones, and it got him. It got him. It got him. So I do want to say that. So, Producer Jay.
What's up?
We've been on here 3 hours. And how many? We got over 200 folks still. Listen. And there's been a lot of information. And we didn't even get to everything. We're going to do a midweek late night chit chat. Maybe we'll do it Monday evening. That's the holiday. Late. It'll have to be late because people be ready to get up to go to work. Because there's some stuff I do want to go over.
10 p.m. sounds like a good time. Everybody been done, ate all that cookout food.
Oh, listen.
We have a late night crew now.
I mean, yeah, but late night, what time?
You had, I said 10. You had JWC.
Oh, I said 2.
No, I said you had JWC on the.
And what does she always
1
say?
o'clock.
Y'all not gonna have me on here. I'm not gonna be on here late. I mean, she be the one talking. She be like, girl, she get on here and just be herself. She be. I will say this. As we work together, me and my colleagues, we don't always agree. We vote for what the best interest of the for. Moving forward, I think there'll be some changes. I don't know about Liddell. She was stomping around, calling on the police. It was just, the energy is terrible. And it is a very hostile environment. And so I think we're going to do a late night chit chat because we need to discuss. I mean, some of their stuff, the stuff they do. I'm like, Lord, you catch somebody on a bad day, it's somebody be up in jail. I mean, that time when she was up against Dennis, Candace and Liddell, violating the charter, violating the council rules and Robert's rules of order. And Dennis Pfeiffer kept his composure. Every meeting she claims, I've been called a monkey. It's every meeting, I've been called a monkey. I was, what'd she say? Flint stat or somebody. No, that'd be you, Liddell, flinching at folks. That's her. I mean, Liddell projects her bad behavior. Liddell projects her bad attitude. Liddell projects her bad karma onto other people.
She has the
does.
Eva Worden syndrome, always playing victim.
Always. And then she been and did something. Always. What is Tuesday meeting about? A Tuesday meeting is our regular council meeting. That's what it is, because Monday is the holiday. Wednesday is the budget meeting. Now, y'all know Mr. Moore had no answers. He had no answers. And so Clyde ain't have none either. So how dare we ask questions about the budget? How dare we want to amend some things? How dare that? So anyways, I want to say, look, thank y'all. Look, Cash App producer Jay, we had a lot of material, and I need to come back on. I do want to say this. I don't know right now, because people have been calling and asking, is Jedediah's event on for June 1st, which is a Sunday? Right now it is. And yes, I watched 810 News Media Group last night to find out what was going on. But it looks like, and Jedediah, looks like they have worked it out or working it out. So it will still be, I was confused and I did not have an answer to give to people. So right now, as of today, my information, it is still on. It is, they're looking for a church though, too. It's going to be on Dayton at Maurice's Amphitheater. I haven't seen a new flyer because Rose put canceled on the flyer. She put canceled on the flyer. So I haven't seen the new flyer. So right now it is still on for June 1st. They're going to be at Maurice's Amphitheater. But I'm going to tell y'all watch and see. And then all these death threats, that stuff is crazy. Guaranteed Mayor Neely is going to call Maurice Davis and tell him, I'm a totem buses, totem vehicles. You not going, he already said, Maurice said he ain't going to embarrass him. And they was coming to kill me. And that was a threat. He got to Maurice. Maurice has a very friendly relationship with the mayor. Very friendly. And so I don't think the mayor's going to allow Maurice to do that. And I'm going to tell you, Maurice went to, Councilman Mays was not speaking to Maurice at all. He was not speaking to him, but he had to call Mays when he had got off the council. He was voted off, and Mays went over there to help him. They were towing everything, ticketing and towing. Ticketing and towing. They were ticketing and towing things. And so with them ticketing and towing, Mays went over there and stopped it. He did him a big favor. Maurice was dogging Mays then. He was dogging Mays. And him and Mays started to fall out because I'm going to put the truth out there. When Neely was elected, Maurice told you Tonya came down. I would go down to the mayor's office. She'll get me a coffee. It's a damn lie. I ain't never got him no coffee. He asked me to. I told him, I don't fetch coffee. I don't do that. I don't do that. I didn't do it for the mayor because that was not my job. I had about 29 million jobs, which my job was pretty much everything. And I understood. I had two offices, one right next to the mayor's and the other one's in the South building. And so I never got him coffee. That is a lie. Never, ever did. Never. He did ask, and I told him, I don't fetch coffee. No, it's not my job. And him and Mays fell out at that point, and things were really bad. But when Maurice needed Mays, Mays showed up because the mayor was getting ready to tow all of them vehicles. He had the police there, and he had the tow trucks there. He had them there. So the mayor, he's so angry with Jedediah. He's about winning. He will use his power to do whatever he needs to do. He's going to get Maurice. He's going to come after him again because he knows Maurice. And I listened to that. Maurice know the mayor going to come back. And Maurice got all kind of vehicles over there. All kind. Yes, Maurice mows the grass because that's Maurice's property over there. Maurice I love his concerts, him and Beverly. They used to be at the library. I would take Lottie, who runs the Golden Leaf. That was me and her thing. And his concerts, when they would be on the library grass, the best. I love Maurice Davis's concerts. He can play the hell out of some instruments. I will give him that. I will give him that. But I'm telling the truth. So I think the mayor, Jedediah, the mayor put out a PPO on him. This PPO thing, Chris Martin got a PPO on Jedediah. And the fact that they are abusing the PPO system, which is used primarily for people who have a real threat. I've never seen so many men who are threatened like this. I have not. I've never seen that. And just telling lies. They had 6 police cars there, 2 marked, 4 unmarked at the mayor's house. There wasn't any threats. Do you think the police are going to let him threaten them? Michael Clay said the mayor used his power to put a felony gun charge 2 years after I got my CPL, and he still got charged. See, that's the dirty mess that he does. That's the dirty mess that he does. Carol McIntosh should have won the first ward. Look, we had some questionable things with the with that counting. We know now. I'm gonna give it to the city clerk. No mistakes. They ran them numbers as y'all watched with us that night with me. That you heard them say, I knew the numbers were being held up. They ran them numbers so many times. It was like a sure, like look, them numbers is what they is. They not changing. But if that law passes, she won't be able to run. And so I'm looking at the mayor is going to tell Maurice, he gonna do something to stop Maurice from having it there. That's just how he's very vindictive. It's going to happen. That's his power play. He, I keep telling you, he run this city like he's a gangster. Maurice, no. Well, he said he was going the death threats he was getting death threats. And he felt threatened. Maurice, that's not what happened. Did you watch the video? Did you see the police there? So, that's Maurice going on me. I tried to tell him, the mayor is, let me tell you, not allowing Maurice to talk slick to him. Do not believe that. He is not allowing him to talk slick to him at all. Not at all. Because for Sheldon or Mayor Neal, I'm going to respect this title. Unless when he see me be like, Tonya, I'd be like, Sheldon. He's not going to allow Maurice to think he's getting more power than he is. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I would look for a second venue because I just don't, I don't see it. He's going to be up there hooking and booking them and towing all that stuff, ticketing them, because that's what the mayor does. And I just don't see it. The mayor does not like Jedediah. Jedediah, they want him gone out this city. Will they, the threats, like they're going to do some harm? Jedediah called me with that. I do not believe that. No, I don't think they're going to do no harm, but I know the mayor's going to make sure he's putting the fear in Maurice. When I watched that, Maurice was really trying to figure out how to, and that turned into a mess. It did. But the mayor's going to pull his power and let Maurice know. I'm telling, because that's what, he's not going to let this go unhitched. He feels Jedediah came into his city and embarrassed him and took a casket to his home. And he's not going to let that go. I'm just telling you. Because look, I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I've seen this man do. I'm telling you, he's going to do it. Tonya Burns has not met with the mayor. So when people put that lie out there, stop. Yes, he's asked all of us to meet with him. Personally, I don't have the time. We're just not in the transition. He come to say he's got some, hey, we're going to do this. It's not just, I'm not doing them little meetings because me and him don't do well in meetings. The last one was in 22. It didn't go well. Rob Whittaker was the CFO. He dropped his head. You talk crazy to me while you mayor, I'm going to talk crazy to you. It didn't go well. And when he's disrespectful, I can be real disrespectful too. It did not go well. I'm not going to wait in that lobby till you come. You got 5 minutes. You don't have 10 or 15. I don't wait on you. When you set a set time, you need to be on time. Period. He needs to figure some stuff out. If it's business about the city, we have a responsibility to do that, move that forward. But his staff, Clyde, I like doing it transparent. Clyde, what about this? Clyde ain't got no answers. Clyde, when you speaking to Clyde, you speaking to the mayor, basically. Clyde and the mayor are close. Clyde does not do anything without the mayor giving his okay. Clyde does not do anything without the mayor giving him the okay. They are close. They trust each other. They trust each other. Clyde is not going to do anything that's going to upset the mayor. It's just not going to happen. So Jedediah's threats, no, he's just saying and Maurice should have checked him. That would have been a whole different conversation with me and the mayor. Well, you know he's going to get threatened. And how he going to get threatened? You sound ridiculous. I mean, but he don't throw nothing back at him. Because Maurice know the mayor and did him before. He went to tow all them vehicles. Them a lot of vehicles. And Maurice, that friendly stuff. Maurice would come on here and say on his show and just say lies about me and Jerry Winfrey Carter. And that was disrespectful. He would just say stuff. The charter, you know, he don't know it like he claims. The council rules are goofy. They have changed three times since he's been on the council. And to me, it is just, you know, I wish him the best. I love his concert, but I'm telling you how to do this. He said the same story that got him unelected. And I don't know. My feeling, I speak to Maurice, but I see Maurice when Liddell called him a bitch. He went back to being friends with the mayor. She cussed you out. You didn't come back to council one time. So you got to listen to people's actions. And I'm telling you, go back to them last meetings, him and Mays, it was bad. It was really bad. And I would be like, Mays, he's like, Mays was like, no, Mays was going on, because it was the disrespect that Maurice knew more than, you couldn't tell him nothing. And he's still saying, I was the vice president. She's sitting in my seat. No, you willingly gave up that seat by not listening to the people. And what we do now know is that I wish Sister Audrey Muhammad had it. I do. I'm going to dispel that part too. We were all running our race. I knew Liddell. I knew Sister Audrey Muhammad. Both of them. But I hope if Sister Audrey runs again, I don't know who's going to run for that seat. I mean, Liddell, big disappointment. She fooled everybody. But when you went to talk, and Maurice, he hurt the people. Only people could take him out that seat were the voters. The voters are the only people who can take you out that seat. The voters were watching him. The voters removed him. He removed himself. And I watched that one. It was really good entertainment. So 810 News Media Group, that was it got bad. I hate to see that some of them conversations weren't on the back, but they were calling in, and Jedediah called in, John called in. They couldn't get Rose, but now Rose has said she's back on. I wouldn't trust that venue because the mayor looked for a second one. And if I sent Jedediah some other options, because the mayor he done told Maurice, he ain't changing his word. The mayor hates Jedediah. Let's make that clear. He brought a casket to his house and had a whole protest with a bullhorn in front of his house.
Question.
Yes.
I hate to put you on spot, but I'll do it. Do we know anything on what happened with that notorious phone call that they were supposed to have? I think Monday, Jedediah and Ed Taylor.
He said that the call, the proxy, that it didn't go through, because he spoke about it, that the proxy said he shouldn't have spoke about it. So I don't know who the person was who was the proxy. And so the call did not go through. It did not. So I don't know. I mean, it did not. That's what he stated. Jed has stated yesterday, he's working in Harvey too. He's working on Flint. He's doing a lot. Flint is a different beast. As you see, it's a different beast. And you got to make sure you get with some of the right people. But then it's how do you figure out who's the right people? That's the tough part. And you literally have to take it to the people in the street. Knock on the door. Look, if I got a resident got a problem, I knock on the doors and walk up and down the street. I talk to people. I just do. That's how I know what's going on in my community. So I don't know what, I just don't trust. The mayor hates Jedediah. It's very clear. Jedediah then went to the mayor's office. He then went to the police chiefs, the police station and the fire station. He talks about it. He's challenging them for better government. I stated the mayor should have came out. I felt and talked. If somebody bringing a whole casket to your house, look, why are you bringing this casket to my house? We need to talk. What is it so serious that you bringing a whole casket on these raggedy streets, these raggedy roads? Y'all were 100% vested. Why are you at my house with this? What are your issues that you think I should know that the people are telling you, and that you bringing people from Illinois? I think he should have did that. And the mayor doesn't like losing. I'm telling y'all, he don't. He don't like losing. He will destroy you. And he's going to go through, we've already seen, he done called Maurice, got to call the mayor's office. And Maurice going to have some more. It's going to have some more. Because even though it's going on, he going to tell it, look, I told you not to have that there. He will teach you a lesson. And he's going to teach him a lesson. I'm telling, with all of that, he's somebody killing, it's going to be a death threat. You know, Jedediah got 2 PPOs on him. You know, I just see that. And so Maurice needs to be careful, because you can't be friends on this side with Jedediah and then think you're friends with the mayor. For him, undying loyalty. And he don't easily trust. He used to think that I was sending Arthur Woodson stuff. Never did it. But I'm glad he believed a lie, whoever told him that, because I never sent him one single thing, not one time. So anyways, Producer Jay. And here he is. I'm waiting for my niece to get on somebody's podcast and say they can't because her name is being slandered. Watch. And here he is. Who's your niece? So, Lasagna Larry, that's a problem. People should be able to do what they want without all that. Yeah, it should be, but that Mayor Neely is vindictive. He's so mad about that casket. Look, they just said they kept Jedediah in jail for, 36 hours trying to figure out to charge him with a felony. 36 hours trying to figure out how to charge him with a felony. And they came up with terrorism. He now has a PPO. His court dates are sliding and moving.
I think that comment was supposed to say Maurice instead of my niece.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. So I think that Mayor Neely is serious about it. Literally, they want to charge him with terrorism and a felony. We know that Arthur Woodson went to court. They kept him for 16 hours illegally. Same thing that they did to Jedediah. And they said that they shouldn't have did it. Arthur Woodson has a lawsuit and he will win it. You cannot keep anybody. I have never seen somebody be a special unit put on you for a probable disorderly or a probable disturbing the peace. I have never heard of that. That is an abuse of position. It is an abuse of power. You can't do it. And then the prosecutor was like, that's a reach. We can't do that. That's not terrorism. So they got PPOs, Bishop Martin and Mayor Neely, on him. So how he moves around, we know that they put the special unit on him to trail him. They used him to trail him. Chief Green, put him on them 100 and something 50 unsolved homicides. Do that. So I would be careful. I would be careful with that. And Maurice will, and he will tell, he got a whole big travel bus. If, when his concerts come, listen, go to his concerts. He gives a great concert. But Mayor Neely is not taking kindly that Maurice is dealing with Jedediah, giving him kudos and what's up, Jedediah, me and you cool. And then he's sitting in the mayor's office. Oh no, not going to be a good day in the neighborhood. I'm just saying. I work with the man, and he takes that part. When you bring a casket to the home and Maurice is now giving a place, just not going to happen. So, anyways, Producer Jay, look, y'all tip Producer Jay. My kids got a whole barbecue thinking I'm cooking. I ain't cooking nothing. And my daughter don't even cook.
Yeah, you got to get off so you can start meal prepping and putting that food on that grill.
Look, Famous Dave's is open. Your girl ain't doing nothing. So, anyways, I want everybody, listen, well, that's what the mayor, well, that's the day the mayor will learn. I don't know what that means, that he will learn. I don't know. The mayor got more resources here, unfortunately. The people got to come together. The people have got to come together, put the differences aside and come together. It just has to be done. It has to be done. Put the differences aside, and Michelle, I ain't making up chicken salad, and move together because we're so separate. I've showed you how they move in that money, but don't get money here that they getting. We need more. We not get money there. We move it to his wife, the state rep. The people are the ones who suffer. Well, I showed you how today. It's a celebratory moment. Oh, the people not backing down from him. Yeah, but they need more people, and it's him and his wife. We supposed to have such great representation that we should get whatever we need to come out of this. 100% of those service lines should have been replaced. We should have indoor plumbing. We'll talk about that another way. We had money to get indoor plumbing. Guess what they said? And I got to find that video where I asked Clyde, and Clyde said we didn't have anybody on our staff who could do the submit it. So it's a lot. I'm not celebrating. The water is not clean. I don't trust it. If you have a problem, call your council person. I'm not everybody council person. Call your council person. Call the council officer. Google it if you have a question about it. So I want everybody to have a beautiful Memorial holiday weekend and be safe. This is click it or ticket weekend in the state of Michigan. I'm just telling you, be careful. Don't be trying to speed. Don't be doing them figure eights. Look, they will take your car. Okay? They will take your car. So, Producer Jane, I want to say thank you to my moderators, Sheena Becton and Patrick Jean. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining. And Producer Jay, hey, please kindly donate to Producer Jay, $1987. You know, it takes a lot to do and a lot of time. It takes a lot. And I think that I give you information. Literally, I have to dispel their lies. Give you correct. Just leave that up when I'm talking. Give the public good information where they can research it so they can see it. And it's some great things that are happening. But we get so sidetracked because some of the stuff that they do, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I do want to say thank you to Producer Jay, Sheena Becton, and Patrick Jean for staying the course. One thing about it that I believe in loyalty, and we can work through anything. I keep a positive show, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I appreciate you. I do. So anything you want to say, Producer Jay? He quiet. Look, Jessica! Hey, Jessica! I ain't seen her in the car. Are you sending Jessica some love? Listen, I ain't gonna listen. If I didn't call your name, charge it to my mind, not my heart. I gotta go pretend like I ain't cooking nothing for my kids. Don't put me in a whole group chat. Oh, guess who didn't comment on nothing? This group chat been going since 6:00 a.m. Yesterday. I take that back. I ain't cooking nothing. I'll be on a liquid diet, which will have alcohol in it because it's the holidays. So I'll be somewhere watching and catching up on social media and the news, and it's gonna be good.
Hey, there was some questions that I had starred earlier. If you want to answer those real quick before we go.
Oh, yeah. Patrice Moore said, please don't take offense, but Cash App is misspelled. Oh, no offense. But listen, just make sure you donate to it, Patrice. And how are those grandkids?
Cash App might be spelled, but the name would have sent it to it.
Okay. Well, then look at the bottom of the scroll. It's on there.
You wanna answer a couple of these questions? It's just like two of them.
Yeah. Charles Lee, my question is for Tonya Burns. Do you think the dysfunction of Flint City Council is trustworthiness for the residents? We have got a layer of issues with City Council. I mean, people have a reason not to trust any level of government that live in the city of Flint. That is the local, I'm going to say the county, because the county was sued for the water crisis. But our city council, we don't trust. We see they don't come prepared. We see that they don't give us information. We see that they vote on their own resolutions. We know that Liddell voted for $50,000 for her own nonprofit. We know that Liddell voted a second time for $25,000. We know that Candace voted for $300,000 in committee for her own nonprofit, sent to go to council where it failed. Now it's going to State Rep Cynthia Neely. People have a reason not to trust. They have a reason, and I get it. I get it, and that's why I put it up here so I can show everybody the trail, where you take it to get tested. I'm gonna give y'all. You can take it. You need to contact. I sent it to him. Hold on, because I sent him a text. I'm gonna put in somebody when I look. My kids still. I am not cooking nothing. So you can contact free water testing. I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna put it on the what's the name. Listen, I'm gonna have put the number. You can contact the navigators, and that number is 810-410-2020. 810-410-2020. Or when you go into City Hall, it's right there. It's right there to the right. And then they can tell you, and not just that, they can tell you resources about trees, if it's anything for roads. They are your resources. The resources, they are your resource team. The resources will let you know what you need. Hot water heater, go to G-Card. Whatever it is, they will be able to tell you. Let them know. What's the other question? Woodrow Green, meeting is Tuesday, May 27th, Special Affairs and City Council. Yes, it is. And then Wednesday is a special meeting. That one's for the budget. Yes, Woodrow, that is the schedule, because Monday is normally it would be Monday, but because Monday is Memorial Day, we are not having that.
That was it. It was just a couple of them.
That was it.
Yep.
Candace on the hot mic. Do he know that's my job? He talking about. I didn't hear that one. I tune her out. I swear to when she's talking. Oh, she must be. What's she talking about? Was it Dennis? So listen, I want everybody to have a wonderful Memorial Day. Let's say tip the DJ, tip producer Jay. It's at the bottom of the crawl. How you can donate to the program. I take the time to give you all and it takes a lot of time. A lot. But I don't know where else we get good information, because our politicians and our local government isn't talking. And this is why I do it, to make sure that we can have a source that you can say, go back and in confidence understand or say, no, I saw this. That's why I put the sources up. It takes a lot of time for me to run a show. And it's very fluid because it changes with everything that happens in Flint. It changes a lot. So the event is still on for June 1st. It will be on Dayton Street at Maurice's Harmony Amphitheater. That is outdoors. Bring a chair. If it changes, I'm quite sure that you will be able to catch it on 810 News Media Group. That will be, I think they're helping to sponsor. It will be on there. And then also I will talk about it on my show. You can catch me on Tuesday with Sheena Beckton on the Flint Urban News. And then we're going to have to do another chat. I'm going to have a whole lot of shows to do. Late night chit chat also. So Tuesdays, I'm on the Flint Urban News Station with Mayor Karen Weaver's platform and with Sheena Beckton. And then y'all know we just up, me and producer Jack, when something needs to be done. And I'm literally, I have a huge backlog of stuff, a huge one of things that need to be covered. So I want everybody to have a safe and wonderful holiday. And Michigan is Memorial Day weekend. It's click it or ticket. So drive safely. Make sure you wear your seatbelt. And until the next time, we're looking for, thank you, Jade Williams, for the super sticker. Appreciate you and everybody who gave. And if you couldn't give, look, I appreciate you for just spending the time with me. I hope I have been able to give you something that each and every one of you can use. I hope I've given you information to show you what's happening in our city. Look, Scripps News got a whole Emmy nomination, and congratulations to them. I spoke about it before when Carrie called me. She said, hey, by the way, we're going to be nominated for an Emmy. And then she said, well, we're not going to get it, but it's just great to be nominated. Then she's texting me right after they won, and she's back in her. She says, we won. I want to say thank you to Scripps News for working with me diligently and making sure residents, and those two residents in those two different scripts were in my ward so that we can bring to the front what's happening and to show people. Don't let them silence your voice. Do not. Keep pushing. When they tell you and talk about you, keep going. Don't let them stop you. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Woodrow Green, they gonna need probably a casket truck again because that last one, the wheel fell off. They need another one. And so, Woodrow, I saw you slip in there late. You know I was gonna call you out. I'm like, look at Woodrow Green. Then came up in here. So Woodrow Green, they may need another casket truck. That wheel came out. They had to use their belts to keep it together. So listen, June 1st, if it changes, look on the social media podcast to see for the new. I haven't seen the flyer. Otherwise, I would share it. I don't have the flyer. So if there's a new flyer that's coming out, there were questions about it before. I was supposed to be a new one. I will put it out, and so I will put it out to share so people will know where to go, so we can all be on the same page. Wishing every one of you a wonderful holiday weekend, and thank you again, Producer Jay, moderator Sheena Beckton, and Patrick Jean. Wishing everyone a wonderful holiday weekend. Producer Jay, Patrick Refresher, will be served in the fellowship hall. If you don't stop. Y'all have a good one. Sending y'all love.
It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vow. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up. We're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our will make them true. With every step